Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another month, another edition here of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 89. Your weekly dose, or your monthly dose of Korean StarCraft League action. And of course, just like live VIP, with me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one more. We are back. We have returned here with our monthly dose of KSL! Exclamation mark! Be in the chat to have a look back yourselves. The bracket is live. The bracket is stacked, and we are jumping into the round of 8. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of At Attorney's Edge, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran. It is Honmono. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player, the Blue Protoss himself. We have the South Korean Protoss representing among us the two people. It is Rebellion. So let us go. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we are once again jumping into, we're once again jumping into TLMC maps, but for the first time we have the TLMC edition of a Korean StarCraft League of KSL. So we're going to be featuring a map pool here of TLMC maps. We're going to be featuring At Attorney's Edge, Blackrock, Defender's Lab, Lockdown, Lumen, Rainfall, Rorschach, Sanctuary 3, and Washouts, I believe. Yeah, and Washouts. So we have our maps. We have our maps here, and we're jumping into our first game. Of course, before we get into it, and before we get too ahead of ourselves here, Honmono is an animal. He's a hyper-aggressive player. We expect all-ins. We expect all-in after all-in after all-in from the side of Honmono, especially in TVP. We'll see if Rebellion can keep up. We'll see if Honmono comes up with something special in some of these other maps. When it comes to this map itself, there are some interesting quirks. Of course, we have the gold base here on the left-hand side. We do have the hybrid gas bases as well here in the center of the map. We do have our regular natural base. We have our triangular third, which is closer to your opponents, and the Russian supply ground can be shortened quite heavily by expanding towards your opponent as well. But we'll see. We'll see how our players do decide to open up. So for now, we throw down the spray of cheese. Again, we expect all ins. Racks into factory, double gas opener, but does Honmono even expand? Nope. Second racks, one base all in. As I mentioned, Honmono is hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive, and we expect an all-in every single game. Whether it's a one-base all-in or two-base all-in, hard to say. But regardless, there's going to be a bunch of all-ins. There we go. We have the second rack, so it's going to be a 3-1 setup here from Honmono, massing up as much of an army as he can, and most likely pulling the boys. Meanwhile, what I will say at this point for Honmono, unfortunately, he has a reputation, right? At this point, he's been competing at this level for quite some time, so everyone knows how he plays, and as a result of that, Rebellion, I'm sure, is fully aware as well. So we should be seeing some blind, safe play at Rebellion. On the one hand, yes, Rebellion doesn't know what's going on. On the other hand, he does know that he's playing against Honmono. So a safety battery here at Rebellion, going for the earlier Twilight Council on the low ground, so it's going to be Twilight Council opener. Not the safest build we could have gone for. Robo would have been hyper safe, but here it's going to be Twilight Council into our initial upgrade. We need extra gateways. I'm going to be concerned if Rebellion goes for a greedier build and cuts corners and cuts gateways. For now, tank production. Tanks are underway. Going Mass Marine, it's going to be a 4-rack setup. No stim. Remember, there's no stim, no combat shields, no upgrades. The real firepower here in this army comes in the form of the tank. So we're going to have a couple of tanks, and that's going to be the backbone of the army, and that's why most likely we pull the boys to buffer for the tank and even repair the tank as well to keep it going. Meanwhile, Blink. Ooh, Blink not charged. Okay, so Blink is the tech of choice. Here comes the second gateway, and hoping we see additional gateways, as Rebellion, he's so far just staying on his side of the map, and Honmono, he will soon pull the trigger. He will soon commit. Rebellion, he will fight for map control. He will catch out the Reaper. He'll take over control of the Zalnaga tower, so good moment here for Rebellion. He will have extra seconds here to react and respond. Here comes the all-in. Here comes Honmono's. Ooh, looks like he's actually trying to set up to catch any stalkers pushing up the ramp. Stalkers are staying at the Zalnaga tower. They're staying at the tower. Honmono hoping to get some free shots off. Cheeky moves out of Honmono. So far we have 2, soon to be 3 tanks. And I feel like we're pushing with 3. Like usually like 3 tanks, that's kind of like the sweet spot. Ooh, the army gets spotted. Now he really knows 100%. Now really he sees how large the army is. He knows 100% that Nolan is coming his way. And behind this, second battery. Second battery is being thrown down. We have 2 more gates, so we have a 4-gate setup in total. Honmono starts to push, but he tries to rotate, tries to avoid the Zalnaga tower. He gets spotted. Ooh, does he get one? He does. One stalker goes down. Big misstep there from Rebellion. and Homeowner's pushing. Homeowner's pushing. Rebellion is racing back home. The boys are being pulled. Here come the boys. And Rebellion here, oh, once again we'll lose another oh god, these are rough losses, heavy losses here. Rebellion doesn't seem like a lot, but this early on you don't really have many Stalkers to begin with. To lose 2 Stalkers already is huge. Now we kite back. Yeah, kites back, nibbles away at the army. The battery does keep the Stalker alive. Blink is now done. Can we get on top of the tanks? No, the tank siege. Oh my god. Yeah, tanks lose siege. We're blinking on forward. Marines will punish. We do get 1 tank, but oh, so many Stalkers go down. The tank survives. And that's going to be game. That's going to be game. Homeowner is breaking on through. He has 3 tanks up and running. He repairs to top up that tank as well. And that is our Tosis Pylon. That is our Tosis Pylon powering everything so far. The Twilight Council goes down. Tank pushes forward. We blink into the tank. Glider dies. He'll lose everything. Yeah, massive losses here for Rebellion, losing every single Stalker. 2 Stalkers barely survive. He takes down 2 tanks, but there's still 1 tank left, and that final pylon does go down. Yeah, the batteries are depowered. Homeowner is pushing in. There are 3 gateways in the main. The boys are being pulled. The boys, pappy. Oh my god. Another Stalker goes down. We're down to 3 Stalkers. Warping in 1 more, but GG. GG, Homeowner. He pulls off the all-in, and Homeowner will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG. Homeowner does take a lead in the series again. 1 base all in here by Homeowner and Rebellion. He did struggle when it comes to slowing down the push. Both times he tried to engage with the army in the center of the map, he lost a Stalker. Both times. Both times he pushed up a ramp trying to engage as well. So just really rough movement, really rough control there by Rebellion, losing Stalkers ahead of time, weakening his own defense, of course, and then eventually snowballing out of control. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations, Homeowner does take a lead in the series. Now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Where are we dropping? Where are we dropping? When it comes to Rebellion's build itself, it was an okay build of choice. A safer build to go for would have been early charge, or going into instead early robo. For mortar production, one or the other, both are safer. Of course, at the time, Rebellion wasn't 100% certain it was going to be a 1 base all-in. Bearing in mind the Homeowner, he does like to mix in 1 base all-ins and 2 base all-ins, right? Like he can get a natural, he can get a second base up and running. That can come into play here, so you can't just blindly assume he's 1 base all-in. Took a while here for, of course, Rebellion to scout and confirm. Let's go. Let's go. We're jumping in game 2. Going to be jumping into Rainfall. This is another aggressive map, by the way. Shorter rush distance. Short rush distance by ground. Very abusable locations in between the bases. Aggression and all ends, I would say, are even more favored on this map. And Rebellion, we gotta play it safe, map. We gotta be safe. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rainfall, we have the South Green Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Homeowner. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Among Us 2 people. It is Rebellion. Here we go. So Rebellion does move out across the map. Behind this again, we do have our natural base here on Rainfall. We do have our triangular third and our linear third base as well. Again, a very short rush distance by ground. Rebellion is already across the map. Now, when it comes to the areas that are usable here, I would say this location right here, in between all the bases, in between the third, the fourth base and the natural. This high ground location is very accessible. There's no like point of elevation or rocks or choke points or anything leading up to this, so if the aggressing player can set up here, then they can wedge themselves in between all your bases. And then if your army's stuck on the third base, for example, if you're trying to defend your third, then you're stuck on the low ground, so you have that high ground advantage as well against any kind of transferring or rotating army from the third or from the natural. And of course, from the third or from the fourth. And the natural base, of course, is very accessible as well, as there's no high ground advantage or anything of that nature. So in general, just pushes are a little more potent here on Rainfall. They can be a little more aggressive, a little more potential. This time Homeowner does open single gas opener. Homeowner is actually going for the expand. We mentioned this earlier, that Homeowner, he does mix in 1 base all-ins and 2 base all-ins, and this time it's looking like a 2 base all-in. I'm getting ahead of myself. He's expanding. There's going to be a CC. There should be. Yeah, we have the money for it. We're about to have the resources. There we go, 400 minerals. CC on the high ground. Homeowner this time is expanding, but just because he's expanding does not mean he's going to macro. So natural base is on the way. Back at home, we can see Rebellion setting up on the low ground. Standard opener so far out of Rebellion. And likewise, Rebellion, he did scout the lack of gas. Yeah. Or actually, sorry, that was an earlier scout. Never mind. So still trying to piece together what's going on. Ooh, and you see what I see? I see a second Rax. That's a very early second Rax here from Honmono and into his own factory. This does scream 2-base all in, by the way. So hyper aggressive. Basically, we're going to be delaying the starport. Big delay in the starport, prioritization of additional production buildings to amass up an army as quickly as possible. This might hit, because we're expanding, this might even hit with stim. Like, we might go for add-ons into tech labs, into stim, into upgrades to hit the timing. As Rebellion once again is poking in, trying to confirm what the hell is going on. Oh, does count, does confirm. Does see everything actually. Ooh, so he confirms the CC and he confirms the second Rax and the factory as well. Big scout there for Rebellion. Now he knows. Like, now he knows, of course, the economic start, but he's also aware of the aggressive follow-up. As we're getting into a 2-1-1. So 2-on-1 stim timing. This is a more common build against Zerg players. This is a rarer build against Protoss. Not unheard of, but still rarer nonetheless. The stim timing does hit quite hard. It usually hits around 5 minutes, I want to say. Around the 5-minute mark. So we'll see how Homeowner gets across the map. That is called out. Quickly checking Rebellion's vision. Rebellion, he does scout the starport, so now he knows it's a 2-on-1. He knows it's not like a 3-1 or a 4-1 or anything like that. I do think the blink should be fine here. Remember, this hits later. Yep, there's the add-on swap into medevacs. So you get into that 16 Marine and double medevac drop. It's coming. So now Rebellion poking out. As he moves out, Homeowner, he's coming from behind. Oh no, he spots the army! He's coming in from behind, and we'll see if Rebellion can get out of here. Oh. We'll see how he can blink away. He does. Does juke. Does juke away here. He does blink. Picking up 2 SCVs, and he forces stim, right? He forces stim. He's distracting the army. He's delaying Homeowner's timing. So nice move to see by Rebellion. He will lose 1 Stalker. Does he get a medevac? No. Doesn't quite get the medevac, but does blink away. And so far, this is worth it. So far, the timing the Homeowner was trying to hit has been missed. He's missing his timing. As time goes on, we have extra warp-ins. Third base is now on the way, and Rebellion, he turns around. Yeah, he turns around. He goes back home. He has missed his window. And he's getting a 3rd CC. Okay. So a very aggressive follow-up here. The timing was missed, and now we're going for a 3rd CC and a 2nd factory already. Okay, interesting. Very fast 2nd factory. Curious as to where Homeowner is taking us here. Are we going to be hyper turtly? So when it comes to Homeowner's style, I was emphasizing a lot about all-ins and hyper aggressive builds. When he does macro in TVP, he goes pure marine tank. Straight up, like pure marine tank, and no marauders, no ghosts until he maxes out. We have Vikings on the way as well, of course, but I don't think this is the best map here to attempt to turtle up, but I feel like that's the goal, is to get into a fast tech lab into double tank production. He's a player of extremes. Player of extremes. I'm curious to see if that's for the 2nd tech lab. Medevacs, they move out. He's add-on swapping, but it looks like he's waiting for combat shields. Yeah. So he's waiting for combat shields. Yo, where are we going? There we go. So he's going into double tank production. That's going to be a heavy tank count very early on. Building his tanks, getting his armory, working on 2-2. Double drop does get across the map. will distract Rebellion. Does distract. So when it turns back around, again, just building up his tank counts. I believe the goal here is to turtle up, like just to turtle up until he maxes. And you can see our sensor towers are on the way, missile darts are on the way as well. So we're seeing the two extremes here of Honmono. The two extremes. One base all in game 1, and then failed aggression here in game 2, forced into more like turtle heavy play. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Honmono will stay at home until he maxes. Oh. We'll see. Ooh, massive storms. Gee, oh my god. Yes, storms, they do soften up the army quite heavily, and Rebellion is going in here now. I do like this. There is a window, there's a timing he can hit before we get out of hand. Can he break that siege line? He commits. Oh my god, storm on the tank with the friendly fire. Yeah, so many zealots go down. Only gets one tank. That was not worth it. Not worth it for Rebellion. He lost so much, and he only achieved one tank kill. Honmono holds. Honmono's holding. At this point, Rebellion's lost too much. He was so clumped up. I have less faith in this push. He's going to get 2 tanks. Yeah, 2 tanks going to be going down. Swarm zoning. Storm does zone away. Damn, Doom drop across the map, and I Storm drop into the mineral line. Late reaction. Getting 6 SCV kills. Oh no, with the Prism. Yeah, Prism goes down. Do we have a recall? Not quite. Yeah, the Prism will fall. Archon should fall as well. Honmono gets across the map. Rebellion lets react. Oh my god, a massive storm. he just tanks the storm to the face. Insane storm. Likewise, 16 SCV kills to the Archon and the Storm. We're getting messy. We're getting very, very messy here. Initially, I was favoring Honmono for defending, but after losing a mineral line, now Honmono, he's looking a little bit worse for wear. He's still building up his tank counts, being active with his bio army at least. So I appreciate that he's being active. Going for Marine counterattacks. Only with the Marines. He's keeping his tanks back at home. Nice target firing, getting into the mineral line. Getting into ace 9 probe kills at the same time. We do come in across. Oh, the tank strikes. No, they're on their own. Yeah, very nice timing. Very nice timing here by Rebellion. Tanks, they're completely on their own. They were naked, but yeah. The pants were down. Tanks do fall. Honmono, he's across the map. He's wreaking havoc. There's not much at home to defend, but we can always recall. As Honmono sims into the main. Do we have a storm? We do. Oh my god. Storms a ramp. And GG. GG with that. Rebellion ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG all played a very risky play by Honmono to move out with every Marine. He went for a Doom drop on the south side and went for a Marine run by on the top side as well, which meant he literally left nothing at home to defend his tanks specifically. Like, yes, there were tanks, but there was nothing to buffer, nothing to protect them, and they just went down one after the other very quickly. GG. GG well played with that. We have a tied series up 1-1, and this can end either way. This can go either way here. Who will claim the series will advance on. Looks like our players are asking for a break, which we're more than happy to oblige. Quickly checking the bracket here, we do have some updates. We can go over the matches themselves. From the top, we have Prome versus Patches in a PVT when it goes up against Classic in the quarterfinals. We are covering Honmono versus Rebellion as we speak. That is our series that we are covering. Winner of that series goes up into the upper semifinals to face up against the winner of Classic, Prome, and Patches. Scrolling down, we do have Inexorable. Inexorable, he 2-0s Troy Galaxy. Inexorable is up against Percival in the quarterfinals. We have ByuN waiting for the winner of Kama and Perceive. So the bracket is slowly progressing. The top 2 players here of the tournament are Classic and ByuN. They're the top 2 seeds, and we'll see if the other players can stop them from facing off in the finals. Again, Percival, he has some killer TVT. We've seen him bring down ByuN multiple times. We have Perm that can be an animal in PvP, for example, and likewise Homeowner and Aurelia, they can be very unusual players at times. They can also cause upsets. But of course, like Classic and ByuN are the favorite players. Best of luck to everyone else involved. Best of luck. No hero this week. True. No hero. There's a very high chance that the hero, alongside some of the other top 4 GSL players, are not showcasing their play at the moment. For those who are unaware, this weekend, specifically Sunday, is the GSL Finals. GSL Finals, the semifinals and the grand finals are on Sunday. Hero, Shin, Maru, and Cure are going to be competing in the GSL Finals. So not seeing specifically Cure, Shin, and Hero, as they are regulars when it comes to these online tournaments, not seeing them here makes sense, considering I would imagine they want to hide their play and hide their builds in preparation for tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow's GSL Finals. So I'm sure they're getting ready. Hello, 안녕 하세요. Happy 안녕. Exclamation mark rate. True. GG. Yes, definitely with Flapjack. So here's the start now. Now I'm hungry. I have to wait until after this is done before I can go for lunch. Oh no. And you can listen to it on your phone. True. You can try. No. I mean, thankfully, KSLs don't usually last too long, just because, unlike other tournaments, KSL, the semifinals run at the same time, right? Like the semifinals, they run concurrently. So because of that, you're able to. It's a little bit more of an expedited process, but here we go. We're jumping into the ace match here, jumping into game 3, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Lockdown. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is Hon Mono. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Among Us Two People. It is Rebellion. Hello. As Rebellion moves out very early on here on the left hand side, curious what the plan is, whether it's just scouting information or if we plan on going for our own proxy. Eyes are on this probe. Meanwhile, we do have our initial openers here. Homeowner going for his own racks on the high ground, no proxy across the map out of our Terran player, and welcome to Lockdown. Lockdown has a ramp coming into the natural base for both players, of course. We even have the high ground third expansion as well, so very defendable 2 bases, and I would say pretty defendable 3 base setup as well. There is an area here in between the bases that can be abused, that is true, so you can take over control of the low ground here to push into the expansions, but pushing up these ramps is not going to be easy for either player. So we're expecting mid-game play here, but even though that's what I expect, I mean, Homeowner has been very aggressive and very extreme in his play so far. Game 1 went for the 1 base all-in. Game 2 went for more turtle-heavy play, took some risks and chances with his marine aggression, and he paid the price for it. This time, single gas opener, racks expand just like last game, but this time it's on location. So economic opener at a Homeowner, 2 games in a row. I mean, some churros, papi. Yeah, let's go. It's been a while since I've had some, not gonna lie. It's been a while. So we are moving out, settling into our openers. And we have our second choice, going to be our Twilight Council opener. So Twilight Council out of Rebellion. Meanwhile, we do have, oh my god, a very aggressive follow-up here, even more so than last time. Remember last game, it was a racks expand into second racks into 2-1-1. This time, racks expand into factory into extra raxes. So earlier last game there was a 5-minute 2-on-1 timing that Homono tried and failed to hit. This time this is much more aggressive. This time this actually screams 2-base all in. What's happening here is that we are delaying the starport even further than last time. So big delay in the starport in favor of Stim, Combat Shields, Mass Marine, to the point where we might even push without the starport. There are versions and variations that you just hit when you pull the boys, and you could just hit with your Stim timing. Otherwise, we could just wait until medevacs arrive and then commit to the push. But this is much more aggressive compared to last time. Last time it was like, oh god. Last game it was a 5-minute timing. This time it's much more committed. Much more committed, much more aggressive, much more all-in. The reacted Hellion is throwing me off a little bit here, though. Usually this is done coinciding with tanks, but here we intentionally have the tech lab on the rack, on the factory. Sorry, the tech lab on the racks. I'm curious if we're going for an add-on swap here or not. We're keeping it on the racks. Okay. Okay. Heli Marine applying pressure. Behind us, okay, there we go. That's what I was waiting for. We have the add-on swap in the tank production. And again, we should be hitting with like 2 or 3 tanks. 2 to 3. Oof. Rebellion gains map control. Rebellion being hyper safe here before taking a third base. That is a Templar Archives into Storm. Oh my god. A very fast Storm here from Rebellion. A very safe play as a result of that. And I'll be honest, I have less faith in this move out. Now, of course, Storm, I mean, it can connect, it cannot, right? It's like, it still comes down to control, still comes down to army movements, whether or not Storm does land. So we'll see. It comes down to our players here, both Rebellion and Homono. Homono, he scans, he sees Storm. Now, upon seeing early Storm here, we're going to make a choice. Do we commit to an all-in into Storm? No. Third CC. So that is a reaction here from Homono. Third CC. It's a very awkward setup here into the third base. There's still no starport, but this is a reaction, I believe, from scouting the Storm. Again, early Storm means that these ByuN pushes, they don't really work too well at all. If Rebellion was playing standard, different story, but this is much safer play from Rebellion. So now we go for the add-on swap. Now we get into our starport. We're switching into the mid game. Oh, hello. I didn't know that that was here. What am I looking at? What is that? That's like incubating queens? Like what am I seeing? Okay. I didn't realize there was some infestation out here. Ah. The Zerg. Where are the moopies? That's the real question. Where are the moopies? So building up a bio army, charge now on the way. Now this is where you can make an argument that Rebellion is in a good position here. Well, his third is late. His third base is late, his saturation is late because of the earlier Storm, and he hasn't really achieved anything with it yet, but he is going for his Prism, so he can go for a Storm drop. He goes for some drop play. Rebellion can harass. Low Sean in the YouTube chat. Hey CranKy. There's this chat, you work yourself to the bone. I love you, but you need to rest. Take a day or two to recover. You must be sore, etc. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate it. It's hard to take any days off when it comes to StarCraft just because there's just so much going on. And personally, like I feel like I don't know, it doesn't feel too good like falling behind. Like there's just so much to do. But for sure, I appreciate it. I'll say that maybe coming into June, we'll be able to have some time off. Like May is so difficult because we have GSL and RSL, right? Like this Sunday is GSL. We have RSL during the week as well. So we have RSL, we have GSL, we have Masters of the Game on the horizon. We have Home Story Cup on the horizon as well. It's just a really busy month, very busy month. But I will attempt to have some free time in June. I will attempt, Babby. I will attempt. But thank you. Thank you. I think the last time we had a day off from casting was in January, actually. But that was also a little bit different because there was some issues with our pet bunnies, and we had a bunch of vet visits, so we took some days off in January because of that. But maybe June. Try to have some free time. But yeah, May has been very intense. Very intense. As we're dropping in, we attempt to drop into the mineral line. That is a storm drop. Very expensive drop there from Rebellion. We gotta calm down. Be careful. Be careful, Rebellion. So Rebellion does pivot away. Behind this, we have our Dark Shrine here from Rebellion as well. We're mixing things up and getting into our 4th base and getting into a longer game stage. So we're building up into the mid-game. This time, we have a bit of a more back and forth as well. Homeowner, he has a much more complex army, not just Marine Tank, but now he's got Marauders in the mix. He's got his gases, he has his Ghosts as well, working on a 4CC. This is the first time we're seeing a semblance of a standard game out of Homeowner. And he's not looking too bad. Right now it's Rebellion that's feeling the pressure to try to push in and break through, but I don't think it'll be the wisest choice to push into the minefield. Rebellion poking in. See, he wants to storm. Nice repositioning. Drilling Claws is done. No detection. Nice night. Catching at a Templar. Catching a Templar, Rebellion pushing forward. Oh. We're still just waiting for EMPs. So what can make or break the fight, of course, are EMPs, whether the storms land, and how Rebellion engages. Ideally, of course, Homeowner, he wants to fight with the minefield. Ideally, Rebellion wants to drag him out of range of said minefield. Oh. Catching Medivacs. Does find them. We turned away at the same time. Zelarame running into the main army. Ooh, our Templar going to be going down. Heavy losses here. 2 Templar. Does kill 1 Ghost. Yeah, 1 Ghost, 10 Marauder sent in the storm. Bit of a trade. Now then, rotating over. Does rotate, looking for a better angle. Ooh, Marshal goes off. Tank volleys as well. So far, Homeowner, he will not be broken. He's standing strong. Again, he's playing quite well so far. Getting up all the Zealots. The Rumbar's not quite achieving much damage. And Rebellion has been throwing away quite a bit here. Ideally, I would say the Rebellion should be a little bit more patient and wait for Homeowner to get a 4th base. The 4th base is now on the way, and this is when Homeowner is now spreading himself thin. Right now he's spread between more locations. He now has a weaker defensive line, as now his Widow Mines are not as clumped up. They're more spread out. Now we're moving in. Yeah, now we're moving in. Catching out 2 mines, going for the CC. Can he get a kill? He can. At the same time, Homeowner gets across the map, and ooh, he kills the Nexus. Yeah, we're trading bases. We're trading bases. Rebellion will lose 1. Homeowner will lose the other. Of course, this does hurt Homeowner that much more, as Rebellion has a bank. He has a bank, he has another expansion, he's on 4 bases. The 5th base of Rebellion didn't really matter as much. As Rebellion is still maxed. And Homeowner isn't there yet. Action going up. Zelsa coming from behind. They focus on the CC. Oh, yeah, a little bit awkward there. It's also going to be cleaned up. They do get 8 SCVs at least. But I would argue some wasted DPS on the command center itself. Someone does move in. Moves in, it does hit the mineral line, distracting Rebellion. At the same time, Homeowner, he breaks out. And this is all just about finding room to expand, to get a fourth base. And Homeowner, he's slowly perfecting his army, right? And he's fully rolling up. He's got tank lines, he's got widow mines. Ideally, he wants to incorporate some more ghosts and liberators. As he does kill another expansion. Rebellion out of position. Yeah, he's out of position. Homeowner pulls back. We do have 4 liberators currently, not bad. Here come liberation zones, and you can see here the Homeowner is fully walled up here. He's got his Sim City, he's got his rocks, he's got his towers. I would say there is still a vulnerability here. That bunker that was killed earlier was not replaced, so that's a bit of a concern. Yeah, Rebellion, he sees an opening. He's going for it. Does move in. The mines. These connections. Mine shots going off. Homeowner out of position. Yeah, Nervous is right back to the army, and the CC goes down. He's gonna get it. What a last dush. It survives. Yeah, one more volley at the same time. A DT counterattack, 11 SCV kills. Homeowner is being torn apart. As you mentioned, even though Homeowner, he was pretty well secure here on the south side, on the top side, there was an opening. There was an opening. The pants were down. There was some vulnerabilities there. And Rebellion did take advantage of that. Rebellion rotating back around. Getting it to 7 liberators. But they're not here. Again, that siege up here on the top side. MP does land on the Archons. There we go, more liberators have arrived. Oh, that's a massive pickle. Oh my god. How many had Templar? I want to say that, what? Was that just full of Templar? Just right then and there? It doesn't show here. No, the battle report. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's out. It's concerned. The prism goes down. Built up in a mass disruptor. What I was gonna say here is that I don't see an easier way in anymore. I would say that maybe this area is the most open, as there's no Sim City. That's the biggest thing missing here in this northern section, is lack of depots, lack of bunkers. It's still very wide open. Aurelia's moving in. He blinks forward. Oh my god. Nice punish. Does punish the blink stalkers. Aurelian pivoting around. Homeowner, he rotates to the south side. Rebellion making his way over. Oh, nice snipes. Sniping to Templar. EMP lands. And the ideal here for Homeowner is that he should be able to push forward, take over this high ground expansion, and then take over the high ground, right? Take over the high ground, then start laying siege upon the other bases here of Rebellion. In my mind, that would be the goal, but we'll see if he can break through. Storm's coming in. Never mind. Storm is denied. Fleet beacons on the way. Rebellion thinking about Sky Toss. He's thinking about it. Oh, yes, another Templar goes down. Nor does it build a tank. These Templar, they're exposed. He's gonna get another 2 Templar. Can he get 3? Can he get 3? Brilliant blinks in. We have mass liberation zones here. The freedom. There's too much freedom. Ah. Yeah, Rebellion, he cannot break through, and with that he will lose a base. He'll lose the expansion. Once again, Marauders, they tank the storm. Oof, denying the warp in. And the base goes down. The base goes down. And this should be the next expansion for Homeowner. This should be his next base. Assuming he can still take over the high grounds. Now he pulls away. And Rebellion, he has to fight for this. Right? Like, he has to fight for him. Right now, Homeowner, he's on 4 bases, and soon he will need another expansion. You can see he's running out of resources. He's running out of mineral patches. Nothing left in the main or the natural. Homeowner, he soon needs to expand. Meanwhile, Rebellion slowly taking up into Tempest. At this point, Rebellion does not have to push in. Rebellion, he does not have to push in. We just have to contain Homeowner, get into Tempest, and then be hyper efficient. Another EMPs. Can't believe me. EMPs connect. Jesus, we have like 5 Liberators here. Oh my god. Zelts get cleaned up, bit of friendly fire, but the SCVs, they survive. They survive. Oh. Scans is the first Liberator, sorry, the first Tempest. How many Vikings do we have? So far 12. 12 Vikings here on mono. We can still do with more. So the way this works here is that the Rebellion should soon be shelling away at the army with this Tempest, right? Tempest, they have insane range. Speaking of, cashing out some Medivacs, picking away at tanks, Liberators, Vikings, whatever he can get his hands on. Rebellion does have a death blow of an army, and Homeowner does slip out. Does slip out. Takes down the expansion. Rebellion, he rotates. Once again, he should be targeting said Liberators. Now just chipping away at the wall. Chip away. Tempest barely escapes. Tempest pulls out. Homeowner moving in. Oh, no, pulling back. And again, Homeowner, he's running out of money. He's down to 3 patches here at his 3rd base, and he's down to 1 full mining base here on the right-hand side. So straight up, eventually, Homeowner, he will run out of resources. I say eventually, soon. Liberation shots going up. Liberation what? Tempest shots. And just catching out a Liberator. That was going up as well. I would say, do you get another Liberator? Not bad. Gets 1. Up! Loses Tempest. Barely, not. Oh my god. They just keep surviving. Just barely. If I want to be a little bit critical here, Rebellion, he's lacking upgrades. The Cybercore is still not making anything here. He has +1 flyer attack or +1 ship weapons. That's what he has. Could do with +2. And even a second Cybercore and double upgrades. As Homeowner breaks out, he takes down bottom right. Bottom right goes down. Rebellion does main arc towards the top left. Vikings are moving in. Oh, Can he snipe? Really not. Vikings, they attempt to dive. Catching at one Tempest. Homeowner is dropping across the map, going for his own triple drop, once again targeting the fresh mining base here for Rebellion. Rebellion has not retaken bottom right either, or even center left. There's still a lot of bases to expand to, and Rebellion should have taken every single one of them. He has 10,000 minerals. He can afford to throw that Nexus everywhere. So that's a little bit concerning. Rebellion's not being as efficient when it comes to taking over the map. Also with his excess minerals, he can throw down shield batteries, cannons to buy time. As here comes a stim, and once again another base goes down, and the mineral line. This is getting a bit out of hand. So the concern that I have here is that if Homeowner can take this base, bottom right is still pretty fresh. We saw a little bit of mining out of Rebellion, but not too much. The other issue that I have here is that this base up here, also untouched. This base here, also untouched. Again, like 5 minutes ago, they should have been taken by Rebellion, and he should have been focusing and fixating on those bases to take resources away from Homeowner in the case that he were to expand. But technically, these bases are left alone. Top left was mined a little bit more. That is true for Rebellion. But the lack of mining, lack of saturation, the lack of those expansions means that technically, Homeowner, his economy can keep going. These are resources that are still up for grabs. Still up for grabs. And they shouldn't have been. That's EP. EP's popping up. Homeowner here gets across the map once again, going for another base. Breaking through the cannons, the battery, the Nexus. Looks like another mineral line is going to go down. Does go for the recall. Up. It does recall. Homeowner late to recognize what was going on. Recognize, late to confirm. Rebellion looks like he's running out of patience. Okay. He's running out of patience. He just sends it right down mid. Liberator's at the reposition. Nova's going up. Oh, they didn't connect. And now we're rushing in. Nice storm on the Vikings. Storm on the Vikings. Ghost, they risk them for a moment, but they EMP everything. EMP'd. Moving in. Homeowner looking for his own moment to dive. At least his base is denied. That's what matters. As we are floating over. There it is. Homeowner, can he take a base? Can he expand? Again, that massive bank that Rebellion once had isn't really there anymore. I mean, he still has 6,000 minerals in the bank, 7,000 even true, but the gas bank is still eerily close. So it's very, very close between the two players. Actually in favor of Homeowner, which is wild. Rebellion with sword. Breaks in. Nova's going to connect. So again, Homeowner, he has been the more efficient player as of late. efficient. Once again, rotating. We do see Rebellion double expanding. We'll see if we can actually get these bases up and running. Oh, nice catch though. Gets 2 libs. Catching out 2 Liberators, 28 SCVs. Let's catch some of the economy. Rotates to the top side. Oh. Is Punisher losing a Tempest? The base is getting up. Hormona is expanding. Then moving in. Novas don't quite connect. Vikings, they take a storm to the base. He takes a storm. Oh my god, the storms! Yeah, they oh no, he goes back in! Oh my god, the storms are insane. The Vikings, they get very low. Ghosts are pushing forward, mass EMP. Novas, they connect. Oh, not quite. And Novas, they mainly zone. And Vikings, they clean up all the Colossus. It's close. Looks like they will. Yeah, it looks like they barely will here. 1 Colossus left. Liberation has arrived. No more Tempest. No more air units, and Rebellion has to get the hell out of here. And again, the banks here, both players, they plummet the supply. There is a massive middle bank here for Rebellion. He's on only 13 gateways. Oh, only 13. So he's gonna have a hard time remaxing. At this stage of the game, with the 10k bank and with what's supposedly every base on the map, like 20 gateways would make more sense. Lose all the expansions. Once again pulling. Rebellion has been burning through his bank. Remember, there was a time where he had 10,000 minerals down to 2,000. That's that remax. Mainly Zealot composition. And catching another 2 Zealots. And more Zealots going down. Rebellion, he wants the expansion. Gets a tank. Ooh. Decent over there. Very nice Novas here, catching one of the ghosts as well. Rebellion with some better moves. Links in, he wants the CC. And he does not get it. Oof. Brutal Nova. Command Center does survive. CC survives, and Homeowner, he has to fight for it, winning it back here. Homeowner, he's down to 8 Liberators, only 9 Vikings. I say 9 Vikings. There's not that much in the air, actually. There's only 3 Tempests. Only 3. Just the 1 Colossus for now. Moving in. I personally would love to see a northern rotation. I would say though, if Rebellion rotates to the top side to knock down this base, it's a very high chance that Rebellion just pushes in. Sorry, that Homeowner just pushes in counterattacks. Rebellion, ooh, does find a way in. Catching up the Liberator. Yeah, he just keeps on pushing. And we can even keep going into the natural, but no, doesn't quite go for it. Doesn't quite commit. Again, looking at the natural, there's nothing here, right? There's one tangle low ground, there's one Widow Mine, there's no high ground setup. Rotates to the center. Takes down the CZ, massive pickup. Catching out the command center. Oof. And Vikings, they dominate the skies, but it may not matter. As it really does beat out a lot of high-tech units. Flashing on the High Templar. Slaps in, takes down the middle line, and Rebellion, he's done it. Whew, he has done it. It took a while. It took a while to chip away at the army, but GG gets called. Rebellion, he overwhelms. May have lost his Skytals, may have lost his Colossus, but again, his Grand Army did excel, did overwhelm. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Thank you so much. Shout out to Silly Dobby in the chat. Cap, I got for 16 months for subscribing, been watching VODs, a few live views, but here I am. Welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing. We do appreciate it. GG, well played. Rebellion does claim it. Again, I was a little bit concerned that Rebellion I would say he didn't do the best job when it comes to mass expanding and taking resources away from the Terran player. That was my big concern, because Homeowner was eventually establishing that's based on the top side, on the high ground. But of course, as though the Rebellion eventually started being more aggressive and more assertive. I do think there were opportunities for him to rotate towards the third base, or to rotate even into the natural and find more damage and recoil out of there. I do feel like Rebellion was just a little bit too tentative here in this game, but eventually he did break through. Eventually overwhelmed, eventually tore the army apart. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Rebellion will advance on into the next round, and let's catch up on the bracket itself, because there's a lot going on, I'm sure. Let's catch up on the bracket. Here we go. We do have our upper semis ready for us here. Classic takes down Prome 2-0, and we have Rebellion versus Classic in a PvP. Scrolling down, we have Percival takes down Inexorable 2-0, and Percival waiting for the winner of ByuN and Camo. So the tournament is progressing. We're going to be following Rebellion into Classic, and then we'll be either covering the grand finals or the lower semis. One or the other. For now, we're going to be cutting to a short break. When we come back, we'll have next series. We'll have our next matchup. We'll see you soon after the break. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OSC as we returned. We returned here with the semifinals, the first semifinals here of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, and we are jumping into our first matchup of the broadcast, and the first semis of the broadcast. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Washout, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player himself, the South Korean Protoss representing among his two people. It is Rebellion. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our best of three. Whew, we had a very long, very intense initial quarterfinals match. Starting off with some cheese and aggression, and then ending with some more standard hyper late game play between Honmono and Rebellion. Rebellion, he weathered the storm. He made it through. Now he's up against Classic. And the PvP of all things, we're expecting aggression here. I mean, hey, we had certain expectations from Honmono as well. And to be fair, he did defy those expectations in that series, especially towards the end. But we'll see. We shall see here, as of course Classic is notorious for proxy roadway play. For now, 2-gate opener out of Classic, 2-gate opener out of Rebellion. So far, standard openers out of everyone involved. Classic does not move out with the probe, but Rebellion does. So Rebellion has an option to hide a pylon out on the map. For now, it does scout. It does come in for a scout. Classic hiding his second pylon inside the main. Meanwhile, a big shout to Shopify. I can see Shopify Rebellion here. They do sponsor the Team Liquid map contest. Likewise, shout out to Monster Energy as well, as they also do sponsor said at TLMC. They do sponsor. For those who are curious, welcome to Washout. Washout is one of the TLMC maps in the new upcoming map pool, potentially. Voting will soon be open, so do not fret. Voting will soon be publicly available. Until then, this map is an interesting one. It's a little bit more standard. There are some unique quirks, but we've rarely seen them come into play. We haven't seen too much mid to late game here on Washout, so we haven't seen some of the other features. For now, though, we're opening up into a standard opener. Rebellion does pylon block, and it looks like our players plan on expanding. Oh, never mind. Stargate behind the main. Okay, so Stargate opener into a delayed expansion. Meanwhile, Classic is pylon blocked. He himself wants to expand. You can see the mineral patches, sorry, the minerals banking up. He wants that Nexus. So it is going to be earlier Nexus out of Classic, earlier Stargate out of Rebellion. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that with the earlier Stargates, we can make the earlier Oracle harass across the map and deal equivalent, if not greater, economic damage to make up for the economy. Oh, as Classic even lets it finish. The pylon does complete. Classic does shade across. Yeah, shades across, threatening any workers. Classic, I meant to say. As Rebellion does try to move in. Does try to move in. Sentries, they lock him down. They force a recall. Nice setup here out of Classic. Forcing Rebellion back home, and Rebellion still is yet to expand. This is a very late Nexus here for Rebellion. Oof. Very late, very delayed. Oracle's on the way. As we mentioned, there's now a lot of pressure on this Oracle. Quickly checking Classic's vision. I believe he is not scouted. No, he saw. Never mind. Of course, with the 3-sentry opener, yeah, hallucination scouts are abound. And Classic is fully aware of the Stargate. He's fully aware of the Oracle as well. He sees it morphing in, so he's ready. He's getting ready here in the bases. We have 2 Stalkers in the main base. We have 3 sentries on low ground. 1 battery on the low ground as well. The Oracle should not do damage. Classic is ready for it. It's going to be up to Rebellion to try to create an opening, right? Create an opening, pull apart the army, distract Classic, and then go in. So there's a chance, there are opportunities. Oh, for now though. Rebellion pulling away. Double depths, they commit to the shade. Oh, bold move here is going to get 1, going to get 2. Do we get 3? Oh. Barely. 3 probes. 3 probes to 2 depths. It's an okay trade here for Rebellion, bearing in mind that he was ideally looking for a little bit more than that, as the Oracle is still active, still looking for a way in, but again, Classic is ready. It's Revelation. Behind this, Blink is on the way. Faster Blink for Classic. And delayed for Rebellion. Likewise, Rebellion, he is still down in workers. He's down in workers. Killing 3 probes was nice, but we still need more damage. Oh, Classic setting up a pylon, gets caught out immediately. Did see someone else asking, tuned in was the ballpark MMR for the players? Yeah, 6.3, sure. Like, it's one of those weird things where at this level of play, you don't really think about MMR. Like, they're all just pro players, right? And some are more favored than others, of course. But, it's not really something you think about. As Classic does move in. Better concave here for Rebellion, but he does break through. Yeah, Classic breaks through the wall. Very nice force fields. Blink is not yet done. Ooh, and with that blink, Rebellion is punished. He is punished here. That's what, 4 Stalkers falling. Heavy losses here for Rebellion. 5 Stalkers in total. Now pushing further in. There's still more energy for force fields. Blink is finishing up in 3 seconds. Blink is now done. Ooh, stasis goes off. Very nice stasis, and Rebellion will hold. He's holding on, still sustained a lot of losses there when it comes to the Stalker trades, but he does hold on, does survive, and we'll see if he can catch out at least the sentries. Remember, Classic can blink away, but these sentries are trapped. Oh, Classic wants to fight. Coming from behind. Yeah, he attempts to surround. Collapsing on the army. Does blink away. And Classic, oh, he cannot break through. He barely cannot. Does at least trade. Back at home, claiming his third. Rebellion is stuck on 2 bases. No third base in sight. And Classic is overwhelming. There's no battery yet. There's no safety shield battery either. Oof. Again, still quite close. Classic up slightly in Stalkers. But what's more important here than the trade that's happening is that Rebellion is still stuck on 2 bases. Due to this aggression, he just hasn't been able to break out to expand, and Classic is now getting up an entire expansion. Classic's third is finishing as Rebellion's begins. The Oracle still turned away. Another Blink Stalkers! He gets in! Oof. Oracle goes down. Rebellion trying to catch out and punish the army. He will! Does intercept. Classic likewise, so he moves in. Oof. He punishes the punish. Rebellion races back home. They're basically fully saturated. We have charge on the way. Again, we're finding our composition. Building up into the mid game. And Rebellion is stumbling his way there. Stumbling. So Classic does push out. Okay, Classic is up in Stalkers, he's up in Army. Upgrades are still neck and neck, +0 for both players. We have faster +1 for Rebellion. Adept shade into the mineral line, 2 Adepts taking 1-shot probes. We have to line up. Yeah, okay, we do line up the shots. Classic commits. Into the bases, nice force fields, does spend the blink into charge lots. Oh no! He blinks into the Zealots, and so many Stalkers going to be going down. That was a brutal blink here for Rebellion, and he will be punished hard for it. Ay. GG gets called, and Classic, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG well played. Again, Rebellion, unfortunately, the initial Stargate opener wasn't worth it. It was just a really rough early game there for Rebellion, where the Stargate opener did not pay for itself. From there, we led into mid-game aggression with, early game aggression with Classic containing Rebellion, ensuring that there was no third expansion, there was no follow-up, and with that, we saw Classic just overwhelming. Faster third base, better tech, better army, larger army as well, to the point where he had those Zealots to punish any kind of Blink Stalkers. A very efficient trade there from Classic. GG well played. Classic will take a lead in the series. Remember, this is a best of 3, and we'll see if Rebellion can bounce back. We shall see. As game 2 is going to be on, I believe, BlackRock. Meanwhile, when it comes to the lower semis, looks like they have begun. ByuN took down Camo, Percival took down Inexorable, and I believe Dave Testa is covering the TVT between ByuN and Percival. Here we go. Here we go. We are going to be loading into our next game. Going to be loading game 2. Sorry, just letting our lovely players and admin know, as we're loading to Blackrock into the updated AVEX version of Blackrock as well. Bear that in mind. But here we go. We are going to be jumping into our PvP into game 2, and I'm hoping for a back and forth. But again, the pressure is on. It's only a best of 3, so there's not there's very little room to work with, I should say. Very little room. And here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner here of Blackrock. We have the blue Protoss player, the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing among SSG people. It is Rebellion. Let's go. Let us go and welcome to the new and updated version of Blackrock. Bear that in mind, it's not the TLMC version. It will soon be updated. When it comes to certain changes that were made, for those that are curious, previously this tall grass was like a full circle with a patch in the middle, and what that meant was that if there was an all-in coming, for example, we could set up these tanks and we can shell away at the initial wall in TVP, for example, as in that kind of scenario, and it would be obscured. Like the vision would be obscured, and this grass could be used against the defending player. So as you can see here, we basically got a lawnmower. We got we got the whippersnipper. We buzzed through our way through the tall grass here, and because of that, that means that if there was a push trying to make use of this position, then vision would be available to be able to focus down said tank or siege unit. Likewise, now it can be used specifically and exclusively defensively, where you can set up units here to defend against an up-and-coming army from across the map. So now it's more of a defensive setup instead. Likewise, the rocks were knocked down. Previously, this was open. Previously, this was fully open, but now it's only half open, right? Now we can see for a lot of these locations, we already have rocks knocked down. We already have these areas becoming more narrow than previously. Earlier, this area, the entire area, even here, rocks were added. It was all more open. It was all a lot more open, a lot more exposed, which did, of course, allow for more surround potential. It made it difficult to maneuver across the map, and the terrain wasn't really helping you when it comes to engaging in the center of the map either. Obviously, it's not too narrow, but narrower than previously, which does make it a little bit more accessible when it comes to army movements in the center. On top of that, other changes made here was the tall grass on the top side. This was pushed back. Earlier, it was closer to the expansion, right? The tall grass was pushed a little bit closer forward, which made it more difficult to get eyes on and engage with an aggressive army. Now it's been pushed further back, so you have more time to react and respond. So a bunch of changes like that were made to Blackrock. For now, though, we have a proxy Stargate. Last game was a Stargate opener. This time, once again, but this time it's a proxy. Meanwhile, Rebellion opening from Classic. Meanwhile, Rebellion once again. Stargate opener back at home. Stargate play abound, and who has scattered who? Classic, checking his vision, has not seen the main base. Rebellion has seen the main, and Rebellion knows that a pylon is missing. So you can see Rebellion, he's searching for the pylon. We have a probe on the left-hand side. Stalkers as well. Rebellion, he's searching. Classic moving in with the adepts. There's a full wall. Oh, no, he gets in! Right. Sorry, I didn't notice, but Classic walled off. Classic was the player that did throw in the pylon, so he was able to open up the wall himself. Quick moves there by Classic, and this is going to get a hand. 4 probes. So 4 probes going down. Ay, ay, ay. So basically what happened, Classic with his own worker walled off. What that meant was Classic had control of the door. Right, the door was in control of Classic, so Adepts shaded in, and Classic was able to cancel in time to let them in. Classic had the keys to the house, Bappy. Ay, ay, ay. So crippling damage, Stalkers are distracted, nothing here in the main base, and the Oracle's coming in to kill. This might straight up just kill Classic because he is heavily out of position. There is nothing at home. Send it, Bappy. Oh, is he waiting for the second Oracle? We don't need to. We don't need to wait. But sure, he's waiting for the second Oracle. We're gathering energy. Rebellion does counterattack. Back at home, what do we have to defend? We have a sentry. Sentry, a battery on the high ground. Rebellion moves in. Here comes that second Oracle. 2 Oracles, they can one-shot probes. That's just a secure way to kill everything. This is giving time for Rebellion to warp in, so now there are Stalkers at home to defend. But it doesn't matter. If they shade into the main base, Oracles, they dive in as well. At the same time, Stalkers, they apply pressure to the natural. Go in, what's going on? Classic, he's distracted. Yeah, Classic a little bit distracted there, but there we go. Now he takes control, goes in, 1, 2, 3, up to 5. I mean, we're getting to 10 in total, 11, 12, 13 probe kills, crippling damage. Meanwhile, the Nexus does finish it, maybe focus down. Stasis Trap does go off and cannot save the base. And Classic cannot save the expansion. Doesn't save the Nexus. One base versus one base, but Classic has 24 probes against the 14 workers of Rebellion. Did I say 14? 12, 11, 10 probes remaining. Oh my god, there's nothing. There's nothing here, there's nothing left. Immortal production has begun for Classic, preparing here for a ground assault. Building up his immortals and eventually can re-expand. Ideally, Classic would have saved his natural. True, wasn't quite able to. He does have enough. Or according to the main base, again, there's a battery to defend. Oof. Oh, Stalker gets caught out. Very nice force field at the Classic. Locking on the Stalker. Orca moves in, going for the stasis. Oh, we pull the void. The boys, they handle the stasis trap. Oh my god. And base trade. Classic moves out. Rebellion moves in. And Classic turns around. Okay. He does turn around. We don't go for the base trade. That would have been the best opportunity here for Rebellion, is to force a base trade and to create some chaos. But Classic turns around, and he'll be able to shut this down. Oof. Oh my god. Yeah, GG gets called. He locks down the army, and Classic will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Classic. He will claim the series. Again, a very chaotic, very intense PvP, as is expected amongst our Korean Protoss players. Rebellion, he had a couple of decent moments himself here and there when it comes to dealing his own counter damage in game one, with some Adept Harass, for example, with some Oracle play. The Oracle didn't pay for itself, to be here in game one. It was just really unfortunate that here in game two, Rebellion never scouted the proxy. He never saw the Stargate. He didn't know what was going on. That's why his main base was so exposed. He had no battery in the main base, he had no stalkers in the main base either, or very few stalkers, just because he didn't know if it was real or fake or what the proxy exactly was. He knew that a pylon was somewhere, but didn't know if the pylon was being used. GG. GG, well played with that. Classic does claim the series, and now let's catch up on the brackets. Let's go. Let us go. As you do see here, Jesus, the lower semis are underway. ByuN took down Camo 2-0. Percival took down Inexorable 2-0 as well. We currently have a TBT between ByuN and Inexorable. Sorry, ByuN and Percival, I meant to say. And currently, you know what? I'll update it here on the bracket. Bam. Currently, ByuN is up 1-0. ByuN is up 1-0 currently. That is being casted by Ome Dave. Dave Tesla is covering that series. And they're in game 2. They're mid-series on Sanctuary 3, and it looks like it's about to be a 2-0. Oh boy. It's not looking good for Ome Percy here, as ByuN, he's got his Ravens, he's got his tanks, he has control of the center of the map. He's up in supply as well. I don't know what happened in the early game. If you're out there, if you happen to be opening up multiple tabs, if you happen to be watching game one between the two players, would love to know what happens in the series and happened in the game between ByuN and Percival. As GG gets called, ByuN does claim the series 2-0, and we have our grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 between ByuN and Classic. GG, well played. Is going to be that best of 5. We do need a moment. ByuN versus Classic. Okay. Look at that, perfectly lined up. Like, we just finished up our series, they finished up theirs. Straight into the finals. Use the peons, true. But GG well played. With that, we're going to be going on a short break. Here. As you can see, we have our finalists preparing and doing their vetoes as we speak. They conducted their vetoes. Classic versus ByuN, best of 5. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the grand finals, those grand finales here of the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, week number 89. We're jumping into the grand finals here. We have our TVP best of 5, and spawning in the bottom hand corner of washouts, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss, one of the best Protoss players in the world. It is a classic. Top two alongside Hero, and spawning in the top right hand corner we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran, the previous world champion. It is ByuN. Let's go. If you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Here we go. As we've been seeing quite a lot of ByuN's TVP as of late, and he has been able to hold his own against Hero in recent weeks. That is true. But at the same time, Hero and Classic are very different players. We bring this up all the time, but Classic, he's a little more defensive, he's a little more macro-oriented. He can be spicy, he can mix in aggression. That is true. But for the most part, like, he often does play for a lot of mid to late game play. That is where Classic really does that's where he really does thrive. Whereas Hero can be a little more of a chaotic player in the early to mid game. Classic less so. So we'll see how ByuN can handle Classic. We'll see if he can break him early on, if he can take him even to the mid to late game as well. We'll see how ByuN will adjust his approach. For now, single gas opener, racks expand, economic start out of ByuN, opening up in a more standard fashion. Likewise, Classic also going for his own gate expand into Cybercore. So standard opener out of both players, economic starts, calming down. Calming things down. I'm also curious to see how they handle themselves on the new maps as well. Welcome to Washouts. Washout has a bit of a longer rush distance by ground, is often more attributed here to more mid-game play. At least that's what we're hoping for, at least. We'll see. We have been seeing ByuN be hyper-aggressive as of late, depending on the map and depending on the opportunities that he does see. He is willing to just double down, to commit, to double down, and to be hyper-aggressive across the map whenever he can. So eyes are on ByuN. For now, Twilight Council open out of Classic, opening up into Blink. You can open up Charge, but often you see Charge on smaller maps. Charge can be a good way to hard counter your opponent being hyper aggressive. If you feel like your opponent has a high chance of going into a 2-base all-in, into a heavy tank push, then Charge base openers can hard counter. Otherwise, we should be seeing Blink, and then we'll be looking for the gateway count. 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4-gate Blink Stalker, depending on the gateways, that will tell us how aggressive, economic, or how all-in Classic wants to be, or even how safe he wants to be. 2-gate Blink is very greedy, 3-gate Blink is in the middle of the road, is a lot more safer, 4-gate Blink is hyper-aggressive. So eyes are on the gateway count. Likewise, we're also going to be looking for the timing of the the timing of the robo. Timing of the robo will also tell us how safe we want to be as well. Back at home, early game Cyclone, just for early game map control. ByuN defending early on, trying to chase down and catch that first adept. Behind this, going for his own 1-1-1 into Widowmine drop. Again, the Widowmine drop is not really built for economic damage. That's something to bear in mind. Widowmine drops aren't supposed to get damage done. What they're supposed to do is get vision, get scouting information. It's about getting across the map, getting some scouting information, potentially killing some workers. That's a bit of a bonus on top of that. But more importantly, confirming the timing of the third base and confirming the amount of gateways are available. Speaking of, 2-gate Blink. 2-gate Blink to the third. We just see a hyper greedy build here from Classic. Very greedy, very economic. If ByuN were to recognize what was going on, and if he were to go for a 2-base all-in, he could punish. He could punish this build 100%. If you remember, we have seen ByuN actually recently punish Hero doing this build during the, I think it was the Kung Fu Cup. It was either Kung Fu Cup or Monday Night Weekly, but ByuN did shut Hero down when Hero tried to cut these corners. Oh, it was GSL. My apologies. Yeah, it was the GSL group stage. It was their first series, if you recall. It was their first series in the GSL round of 8. Meow Widowmine drop is going to be denied. Blink is now done. And ByuN is going to be zoned away. So nice positioning here by Classic, especially considering that he had a lower gateway count and a lower stalker count. does catch ByuN. And ByuN doesn't know. ByuN doesn't get across the map. ByuN doesn't see anything. ByuN has no idea the timing of the third base, the amount of gateways. All he knows is that there are stalkers in his face. Ooh, and there's an opening. I see a tank on the low ground. I don't see a tank in the main. We have high ground vision with the observer. ByuN going for the follow-up Banshee. Classic. He goes in. He goes for Stim. Stim, he's going to get it. Yeah, Stim is going to be focused down. Observer does pull back, and Stim is going to be denied. Massive pickoff. Ay, ay, ay. And this means that even if ByuN realized what was going on as the mine drop now comes in, if even he wanted to go for a 2-base all-in, now he's heavily delayed. There's no Stim now. There's no Stim in production. We have to rebuild the tech lab and then restart Stim, so ByuN is stuck at home. Like, no shot we're pushing without Stim. So ByuN is stuck at home, and Classic gets away with the faster third. Faster third, faster saturation, greater economy. This leads into a stronger mid-game. Stronger mid-game. So chat, what music is this? Brutal OST. We only play the Brutal OST during the breaks. Maybe one day we'll mix in like the SE2 OST, but we typically do leave it to those two. I see you can't go wrong with the Brutal OST though. Can't go wrong with it. Do you contribute to the KSL? If you're in the chat, there's a command, !KSL. So there is a command in the chat. So if you wish, you can actually support the Korean StarCraft League, which right now it does need support. So you can help fund the tournament, help grow the tournament, and even allow for it to be a more regular event. Right now it is a monthly tournament, but it can be grown into a bi-weekly, every fortnight, or even a weekly tournament as well. As with a lot of tournaments nowadays, there are ways to support. Original soundtrack. Yeah. Here we go. What is OST? Yeah, original soundtrack. Yeah. Ask if you do. I'm not a patron of the KSL, if that's what you're referring to. One day, happy one day. Love to be. So Banshee does move in. But there is no cloak behind this. There's no cloak. Banshee does move in towards the bases. And so far, Classic he does own. Likewise, ByuN has built up his army. As a reminder, because of delayed Stim, he's stuck at home claiming his third base. Observer does confirm the positioning here of ByuN. Does confirm. And from here, Classic's just mass expanding. Again, because Classic's stronger early game, he has a stronger economy, faster third, faster saturation, faster fourth base, faster saturation into a faster fifth. This is getting out of hand. Right now, the soup is lying to you, right? The supply is quite close, and technically that means that ByuN can actually break out soon, but in a couple of moments, in a couple of seconds, in a couple of minutes, that's where Classic should be skyrocketing ahead due to all this economy kicking in. Here we go. Classic, he does threaten to push. At the same time, Prism into the main base. I would argue that Classic doesn't even have to be aggressive right now. Like, he can just enjoy, like, he's just taking more bases, just getting a 6th expansion as we speak. Recalls out of there, does get a couple of SCV kills, a bit of bonus damage, keeping ByuN busy, while Classic is soon to max. He's soon to max out. So now we're knocking down our rocks. Rocks are being knocked down. Their academy on the way. Again, ByuN is slowly working towards a 4th base. I should also elaborate on what I mentioned earlier, how Classic doesn't need to like go for the prison harass at the moment. Right now, Classic just has to chill and wait for ByuN to expand. When ByuN attempts to get a 4th base, that is when ByuN will be spreading himself thin, and that is when Classic can find an opening. Even here, though, he does catch out the Marines. Yeah, so many Marines going to be going down. Classic looking for a way in, getting on top of the tanks, and he gets one. Yeah, one tank will go down. Vikings, they do snipe the prison, they deny the warp in. Very nice. Yeah, warp in is denied, and ByuN holds. Doesn't just hold though. Up, he gets one. He gets one, he gets two. He might even get all 4 Colossus. If our 2 Colossus go down, Vikings still pushing in. Can he get one more? He can. Yeah, he can get one more Colossus. 1 Colossus survives. But Classic is cornered. Yeah, Classic is cornered, and look at that. Classic will lose every single Colossus. Heavy losses here for Classic. Ay, ay, ay. Now, you can argue that Classic can afford this. Classic is on 7 bases, by the way. He's but replacing Colossi, that takes time. That takes time. There's only 1 Robo. You can see here a 2nd Robo is on the way. How did that fight go so poorly for Classic? The warp in. If the warp in finished, honestly, Classic wins that fight. Classic, he wins that fight. He overwhelms. With that warp in being denied, Classic was overwhelmed. He was overwhelmed. He overcommitted. And with that, ByuN does fight well for himself, but now my big concern here is that he needs a 4th. He needs that 4th base up and running, and Classic, he's remaxing. He is going to be faster to rebuild and remax. You see Classic rotating. Has he spotted the 4th base? Not yet. He's not aware of the 4th location. Planetary's morphing in. And can ByuN hold on to the 4th base? Can he hold on to it? No. the answer is no. As again, ByuN, he's now rotating over. He has a couple of tanks here between his bases, his water mines as well. They're mainly at the 3rd location. But in a head-on fight, ByuN, he will struggle here. Yeah, he cannot maintain that 4th. Ideally, ByuN wants to drag the army into range of the rest of his forces. Likewise, not much anti-air here for Classic, true. Not much anti-air. Mine shot goes off. And ByuN is going to be zoned back as we're getting an 8th expansion now for Classic. Again, he's taken over the map. He's taken over the map. I also really appreciate that Classic is prioritizing the fringe bases as well, taking resources away from ByuN if ByuN were to ever expand. Oh no, the mineral line! Oof, yeah, workers that were caught out. ByuN did not pull away. That is 9 SCVs falling. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this, as ByuN, he does try to rotate over towards the center. Likewise, Classic rotating over as well. Classic, he will come across the CC. And he has built up his Stalker counts. For now, going for the Vikings. Gets 1, gets 2. 2 Vikings go down, CC's not fight. That's a kill on the CC. And again, that is Classic's win condition. Deny the 4th base. Deny the 4th base over and over again. Make ByuN work for it as he starves out. At the moment, there's no need to take him into Skytoss, as there are no Liberators, right? Right now, ByuN, he's yet to really perfect his army. He's lacking Liberation Zones. He's lacking his Fusion Core. His army is still very vulnerable here to a very heavy Gateway composition. Classic blinks in. Yeah, he blinks in. Catching out Ghosts, catching out Marauders, very efficient trades. He's getting with all the tanks as well. No, he gets 1, he gets 2. Takes on both tanks, and Classic is done. He's breaking ByuN. ByuN, he stems forward, he gets 1 Colossus, he gets the other as well. I expected soon. There we go. Gets both Colossi. And it looks like ByuN, he will barely win this fight. But once again, we're in a position here where ByuN can't afford these trades. He can't afford it. Classic can. So once again, for the 2nd time, Classic overextends with this Colossus, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's the reality is it doesn't matter. You can take a bad fight. We have the luxury of taking a bad fight here due to the economy. Classic breaks through, catching up the Ghosts. Vikings forced to land. And with that, Classic has broken the back of ByuN, taking care of all the Ghosts and Marauders. GG gets called, and Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A very rough start here for ByuN. Winding it back here, if you recall, ByuN, it was brutal to see Stim denied. If you recall, we saw some extremes here from Classic, where Classic, he went for a 2-gate opener. He went 2-gate blink into a third, so hyper greed out of Classic. We saw that ByuN, if you recall, he himself was building up into a Stim timing, but Stim was denied. So Classic got away with greed, ByuN was denied any kind of Stim timing, and ByuN was stuck at home, and Classic could freely get a faster 4th base and a faster 5th base. So he was just freely just snowballing out of control, building up a greater economy. If ByuN wanted to all in, it would have been delayed, so I understand the rationale as to why he did not all in, despite the fact that him being in a rough position, tried to play it out, but alas could not quite keep up and not with the economy of Classic, despite taking better fights. Like I will admit that, of course, ByuN did take better fights. He was out trading Classic by catching out and resetting the Colossus count every single time, but again, just to re-emphasize, Classic could afford those mistakes. ByuN couldn't afford the trades. And here we go, we're getting into game number 2, going to be loading into Lockdown. Let's go. Here we go. As we are loading into Lockdown. We are loading into Lockdown. Lockdown being another one of these other, I would say a more defensive map. We'll get into it, as the bases are close together and in better positions. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Lockdown, we have our South Green Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss leading the series 1-0. Representing Virtus Pro, it is Classic. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. My eyes are on this probe. Yeah, let's go. Go for the proxy. We have our red Terran. We have the South Green Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. I zoomed in to look at the logos, but they're not there. Are they gone? Oh, there they are. There they are. As Classic is going for the proxy gateway to begin with here, so we do have a very aggressive opener here by Classic. Bearing in mind this is a more defensive map in the map pool, I think that's why Medic Jr., I think he's casting with Dave, I believe that is why he's reacting the way that he is. The reasoning for this is because there's a very high chance that ByuN opens up economically because of the high ground expansion. We do have a ramp coming into the high ground, which is quite rare, so this is a lot more defensive, so ByuN has incentive to be greedy, but that's why Classic is banking on that. He wants ByuN to be greedy, and he wants to punish that greed. This ramp is ideal when it comes to early game aggression, but here when it comes to early proxies, like, you can't really make full advantage of this ramp. So I do give the edge to Classic here when it comes to punishing ByuN, assuming that ByuN gets a CC on the low ground, and he will. So right now, Classic again reading ByuN very, very well, and I'm concerned for ByuN. Winding it back when it comes to the previous game as well, I feel like that game really did showcase the strengths of Classic. Classic, he knows so much, so well, better than any other player, by the way, better than MaxX, better than Hero. He knows when to cut corners, when to be greedy, when to capitalize on that kind of setup. He is so fast to mass expand. He's so fast to max expand. He's so fast to saturate those fringe bases. He's so fast to just take a lead and just run with it, and to have a stronger mid to late game as a result of that. And you saw that last game where Classic was even taking worse fights, but due to that greater economy, due to that greed, due to taking advantage of ByuN, he could just sustain that regardless. Meanwhile, here we go. The goal here is to cancel, to delay and maybe even cancel the CC. Behind this, oh, Marine into add-on. No Reaper Scout. No Reaper Scout here by ByuN. Is going Marine into Reactor into Factory, so he has one Marine to defend. And can we deny the low ground CC, as the CC will not finish? Now moving up the ramp. Ooh, can we get on top of the Marine? Can we just break down the front door? Okay, he's not too concerned with canceling. Going for the depot. Boys are being pulled. Forcing micro out of ByuN. We do mass repair. Yeah, mass repair on the SCV. Depot taking a lot of hits. And the depot goes down. Wow, he breaks through. He breaks through the depot. Supply blocking ByuN. Thankfully, there's one Widowmine on the way. Got the one Widowmine, and it will burrow. Oh, there's... Oh, God. He forces the cancel. I mean, again, what can we do? There's no Tech Lab. There's no Cyclone. Supply block for ByuN. Zealot tanks the Widowmine. And it's all just snowballing out of control. It's snowballing out of control here. We focus on the Marines. There's 2 Marines left. 2 Marines down to 1. Down to 0. 0 Marines remaining. Now we can focus fire that. Oh my, nice round. Nice round here on the Stalker. Dust around, Wood Mine will reset. The Stalker breaks out though. Yeah, the Stalker breaks out. The Wood Mine will not reset. There's 2 Marines popping out just now. Down to 1 Marine. Gets a Stalker. Gets 1, but the game may just end. The game may just end here. We do get 1 Wood Mine on top of the ramp, just barely. Up. Ooh, there's a Stalker. Classic gets in. And he wants to delay that CC. He wants the CC. He wants him. He just fights the Marine head on because he can. Yeah, Wood Mine is going to be hunted down. GG gets called as ByuN is overwhelmed, and Classic takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. And GG, well played again. A very nice read here from Classic, and a couple things happen at once here. If you recall, we mentioned that ByuN had incentive to go for a greedy build here on Lockdown because of the map itself. So Classic, he was hoping that would be the case, but not just that. On top of that, if you remember, ByuN did go for a Marine first into Reactor, no SCV Scout, which is standard to be fair, but no Reaper Scout either, right? He skipped his Reaper, so because of that, ByuN had 0 information, so he couldn't react. If he were to go for an earlier Scout, he could recognize what was going on, set up a bunker on the high ground, cancel the CC earlier, get the refund earlier, start the Tech Lab, start the Cyclone instead of Widowmine, and have a stronger defense to build up into a longer game. But remember, it was ByuN cutting corners, ByuN being greedy, and ByuN not having any scouting information against the hyper aggression of Classic. So these builds, it was almost like a build order win there. I say almost like a build order win because there's a world where maybe ByuN, maybe the Widowmine resets, right? Maybe the Widowmine resets, he gets an extra shot off, the Widowmine survives a little bit longer, and even if he kills like 1 extra Stalker early on, then ByuN could maybe hold on and force a longer game. It came down to the minute details of the unit control, of course, and Classic did break through. So to break on through, and here we go. We're going to be loading into game number 2. We're loading into game number 3. And I'm hoping for a back and forth. I want to see a longer series here, but the pressure is on because spawning in the right hand corner of Defender's Lab, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Virtus Pro, leading the series 2-0. Seeing the 2 extremes, by the way. Game 1, Classic was hyper greedy and excelled in the late game. Game 2, Classic was hyper aggressive and excelled in the early game. And now it's time for mid game? Question mark? We'll see. We'll see, as it is going to be Classic for Virtus Pro. Hello, SCV. Hello, ByuN. Show us the proxy racks. As spawning in the bottom hand corner, going for the proxy racks across the map. It is the South Korean Terran. It is the red Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. It's his turn, Bobby. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to Defender's Lab. Now, what I was going to say is we move out with the second SCV. It's going to be Proxy 2-Rax Reaper. What I was about to say here was that Defender's Lab does, I want to say, favor mid-game play, right? Setting up your natural, your third base, like a relatively defendable 3-base setup. Classic does Probe Scout, and Classic, he did not see the proxy, but Classic will see that the Rax is missing. So already, as opposed to the previous game, Classic will have some information to work off of here. So it goes in, he confirms only 1 gas geyser, confirming that the Rax is missing. You can see here he did check a little bit further behind in the main, and now we have to check the low ground natural base as well, as we have our 2-Rax Reaper massing up. Here's a massing early Zealot here from Classic, so Classic is taking this seriously. Taking this seriously, early Zealots. Usually you skip the Zealot and go straight for the Cyber Core into your expand. But here Classic is playing safe. The Zealot won't kill Reapers, but it'll just buy time. It'll buy time. It'll protect your mineral line, ideally. Oh, he locks in the SCV. No, Classic. He locks him in. There's 1 worker there that's not mining, and this entire patch is basically inaccessible. Pylon does finish. Now, the reason why this is really strong here is because usually, as the first probe does fall, nice pickoff. But usually you deal with this pylon with the Marine, with the Reaper, but because of the proxy, there's nothing to do with the pylon. This is going to be delayed economy for a long time. So this pylon is doing even more damage than what it usually would, which is why it does finish. Because there are no units at home to deal with it. Meanwhile, the initial Zealot does buy time, only 1 probe kill so far. You can see Classic looking for the proxy. He's searching, Pylon's still denying mining in the main. Probe is hunted down. And Classic, he will find. Okay, he will find the proxy. No! He barely doesn't. Yeah, now, now he spots the Reapers, he gets surrounded, he gets called out, we have reinforcements on the way, and it looks like ByuN will catch the first Stalker. Very nice. Yeah, one Stalker falls. One Stalker falls. Classic racing back home into his main. Ooh, this is going to be brutal here. Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Without that Stalker, probes are going to be going down, he will lose one more. Second Stalker arrives, Classic holds. Whew. Okay, Classic, he does hold on. He's expanding behind this as well. ByuN back at home, there's that factory. Oh, who is it? Who? Oh, is it me? No, no, Enki. Enki, por favor. Oh, okay. So Enki, for those that are curious, he is the Spanish caster in StarCraft. Hopefully everything's okay and hopefully everything stabilizes. Thankfully that latency happened when nothing was going on, right? The worst case scenario is for someone to start lagging while a fight is happening. Thankfully, like, ByuN backed off. Like, ByuN, he'd already retreated and there was nothing, there was no, like, intense micro. But cross your Ethernet cables, Enki. Cross them. Stay with us, Pappy. Stay with us. We got a lot of love for Enki. He's one of us. He's one of our own. He's a duckling. Enki's a duckling. Este Enki. He's el hermoso. If you ever tune into his channel, he's el hermoso. It's beautiful. Este Enki. There we go. ByuN, he's hiding behind the mineral line, by the way. Classic, he moves out. We might end up in an awkward position because of supply. No, sure. Heavy supply block. Heavy supply block here. There's nothing on the way. Stalkers are coming, by the way. The Stalkers are coming. And can ByuN force a recall? Can he force a recall back home? Because right now, we are still supply block. Just now, the supply block is broken. Reapers, they move in. Classic does the recall. Does catch a sentry. Not bad. One sentry goes down. Batteries within range. Stalker does defend. Classic's moving in. Okay, there's one Cyclone. Okay, never mind. There was one Cyclone in the main, thankfully. But the tank is delayed. Boys are being pulled to repair. And ByuN should hold. Yeah, ByuN should hold on here. Back at home, Reaper does fall. And ByuN defends the main. Whew, he defends the main base. Now, what did Classic scout? That's what's important here. Classic, he saw the tech lab on the starport. He knows. He knows, like, there's no shot that you're rushing into a Raven this early on, so he's aware of the potential of Banshees. He saw no research on the tech lab. He saw no upgrade. Reapers, they move in. They catch a third probe. Was that 3 probes going down? 7. Oh my body, 7. Jesus. It's been slowly adding up. 7 probe kills, but ByuN is still on 1 base. So as it all settles here, I do favor ByuN's economy. ByuN's going to get up to 2 base saturation, and as you can see here, when it comes to the worker count is even. Typically, the Protoss player wants to be up in workers, just because of mules, right? Mules, efficiency, of course, when it comes to the units themselves. So Classic wants to be up in workers and up in expansion, so ByuN, so far, economically, he's in a better position. The Reaper so far have been worth it. What I'm most concerned by is the army. As here we go, Classic, he commits. He's got a lot of force field potential. There's 1 tank on the low ground. The bunker is not yet done. There's only, okay, 2 tanks. 2 tanks here. Classic, he might break through the natural and then get into the mineral line, but that high ground tank is going to be an issue. Gets the first tank. First tank goes down, and he backs off. Yeah, he does back off. Very nice force field. He locks down the SCVs. Again, I don't see Classic breaking the main, but he doesn't need to. Yeah, he doesn't need to break the main. Denying any kind of mining. Oof. Does push into tank range and does snipe the Cyclone. Cyclone goes, the Banshee down, the Banshee. One more volley, he gets it. The Banshee goes down as well. No harass across the map, but ByuN does hold, but that's going to be 5 SCV kills. He lost a tank, he lost a Banshee, no harass across the map. And of course, denied mining. So nice aggression there by Classic. Yeah, nice aggression. Considering he had no blink or anything of that nature. Good damage from our Protoss. Oh. Reapers, they do snipe the final sentry. So nice pick off out of ByuN. Nice pick off. Behind this, we're going to be skipping blink. Skipping blink, going straight into charge, into storm, into a 3rd base. So Classic is building up into the mid game. ByuN, we have yet to determine whether or not he will expand. So from here, ByuN has Stim, he's getting into combat shields, he has +1 on the way, only 1 eBay. We could see, say, 2 more Raxes, and we could turn this into a 2-base all-in, or ByuN can expand. So we're waiting to see, do we throw down production, or a 3rd command center? Classic does spot the move out. If ByuN were to pull the boys, then Classic would see that as well. Reapers into the main, they get cleaned up. ByuN scattered Storm. He knows. He's where Storm. Here comes the main push. Classic, he sees this. Now this will hit with Stim. Combat shields will finish up mid-fight. It's going to be finishing on mid-fight here for ByuN. +1 is completing. The medevac is very cavalier. We got to calm down. We got to be careful. Here you can see Classic trying to engage ahead of time. ByuN tries to juke, tries to drive. Where are we going? Dust Siege. Dust Siege is in range. First tank will go down. Massive pickup. He gets a tank. Yeah, tank does fall, and Storm isn't ready yet. Oof. Forced to go for the feedback. Morphing in the Archon. That's a lot of bio. ByuN stims in. Yeah, ByuN stims in. We need more Zealots. We need more charge lots. Storm is not yet done, and ByuN breaks through. Whew. ByuN, he's broken through. He takes down the Archon. He breaks through into the main, into the third. And Classic just doesn't have enough. Yeah, there's just barely not enough here. Storm is finishing, but too late. Yeah, it's finishing too little too late here. If we can warp in one high... Actually, hold on. The overstim. We're overstimmed. The medevacs, they're running out of energy. If we can warp in one High Templar and energy overcharge, we can Storm. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Classic, he barely holds on. There's a High Templar morphing in. Storm is now done. Classic, he didn't lose any workers. He's still holding onto his third base. Can he survive? It's still very close. He needs energy. Oh. My shot goes off. He still needs a little bit more energy here. There's the energy overcharge. Do we use it? There it is. Ooh, Storm's behind the army. Yeah, it does Storm behind. Charge also collapse in. And Classic holds. And Classic is holding. Ooh, Classic is holding on, catching out one of the medevacs. We get a very clutch hold here for Classic. Hey. It's very clutch. Behind this, ByuN does get his third CC on location. He's morphing in his orbital, and ByuN still has the better economy. ByuN still has a greater economy here. He's up in workers, up in economy. He can keep up the momentum, and ByuN should not back off. He should not back off. The one thing keeping Classic alive in this game is Storm. If the Storms don't quite connect, if they're not quite available, then ByuN can break through. So this is a very, very tense kind of situation here for Classic. Very tense. As he's working with very little here. Now Classic has 4 High Templar and he's soon to have 4 Storms. There's the energy overcharge. Prism is out for a counterattack. This is ideal. Classic, he needs ByuN to back off. He needs ByuN to back the hell up. Oh, there's the first Storm. Feedback snipes to the medevac. And Storm is zoning. Massive Zealot warping across the map. As you mentioned, Classic, he needs ByuN to retreat. Back at home. Oh, there's very little to defend, actually. And we get into the mid line. Yeah, Zealots get into the mid line. ByuN, he does F2 back home. He races back. That's what Classic wanted. And we get SCV kills as well. Ooh, surrounded on the Ghost. Yeah, Ghost gets surrounded. Ghost goes down. Brutal pickoffs here. 9 SCV kills. And ByuN, he did race all the way back home. Prism into the main base, distracting ByuN even further. And Classic can breathe. Classic can expand. Yeah, 4th base on the way. So a very crucial run by here from Classic. Distracting ByuN, forcing him back home. And Classic can now breathe freely, claim another expansion, build up his own economy, and start to gain map control. Now, Classic isn't out of the woods yet. I still do favor ByuN overall when it comes to the main army engagements. Again, you can see that ByuN's 4th base and Classic's 4th they're on par with each other, right? They're on par with each other here, as opposed to game 1 where Classic, he was like up 1, 2, 3 bases compared to his opponents. Here, ByuN is holding his own due to the early game damage, right? Due to the early game damage, due to the lack of momentum that Classic has. Warping into the main, Marines are in position. Recalls back home. That's also dealt with. Ooh, does barely recall. Recalls in time, and Classic hasn't stabilized yet. He's stabilizing, but he's yet to stabilize. He needs more time. We have the Bay on the way. We have Colossus on the way. He also has a terrifying army. He did prioritize Ghost production due to all the High Templar. And Classic's in trouble here. He's got a lot of Templar, but he has to stay spread. He has to spread out his Templar, make sure he doesn't get EMP'd. Speaking of, does dodge the first EMP. Storm comes in. Storm does grace the Ghost. Oof. Forcing him morph into the Archon. That's 2 more Templar going down. Storm once again mainly on Ghost. They can tank the Storms. Archon getting caught out. Oh. EMP on that, on the Nexus itself, on the battery. Does EMP, more EMPs here on the Prism. Trying to catch the Templar, trying to, the Prism. Ooh, Prism goes down, and no more storms. Sorry, the storm's coming in, but 2-Eye Templar just got sniped. 2-Eye Templar went down. There's what, 3 storms left. Lands 1 storm, juicy connection. Oh my god. That's a lot of fire going down. That's what, a third of the army falling. Another storm comes in. And there's still more storms left. Still more storms. Another storm lands. And Classic holds. Okay. The Classic is held on until we got the Colossus. That was the win condition here. Classic just survive until Colossus. He got there. He got the Colossus up and running. Now he has more secure splash damage. We have the Vikings going ham. Storm of the Vikings. There's 1 Viking left. Colossus pulls away. Can he get it? One more volley. Oh my god. Almost. Viking goes down. Yeah, some panic storms out of Classic. The Colossus barely survives, and again, Classic is holding. Now, thankfully, behind this, ByuN already had a 4th CC. Right? He already had a 4th base, so ByuN is claiming his own 4th. Muling his heart out. Still has the better economy. Once again, this entire game has been Classic barely holding. He barely held his 3rd. Here, he barely holds his 4th base. Classic still doesn't have momentum. I would say that ByuN still has the advantage, bearing in mind that ByuN did preserve his ghost. Right, that's what's important here. He held on to that ghost count, so still has plenty of EMPs. He did not throw away his army. And Classic is getting his Robo. Robo is getting up. Thankfully, ByuN is not being passive, right? Like, again, ByuN has the advantage right now. He has momentum. He has to keep applying pressure. We're going to keep going. The Observer does spot this. Oh, ByuN does spot the Observer. Observer goes down. Classic is built up to 3, soon to be 4 Colossus. 2nd Robo is on the way. That should be for Disruptors. Shows EMPs. Oh, not quite. EMP lands on the Colossus, not on the High Templar. So Templar, they're still up behind this. We need Disruptors soon. Ooh, supply block. Wait, we're making more Colossus? Oh, okay. There's another Colossus on the way. Getting up to 5 Colossi. Okay, how many Vikings do we have? 8. 8 Vikings. Oh, that's a decent Viking count. EV goes off. 1 Colossus instantly just gets denied. High Templar as well. Oof. And that's going to be a 2nd Colossus falling. And a 3rd Colossus as well. And ByuN overwhelms. ByuN overwhelms. EMPs are landing. That's the final storm. And ByuN is done. And ByuN is breaking through. GG gets called. And ByuN fights back. He puts a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very, very rough game there for Classic. The entire game, Classic was treading water. He was barely holding, barely surviving, barely holding onto the 3rd, barely holding onto the 4th. ByuN had the economic advantage the entire game. That snowballed into a larger force, into a more tech-heavy force as well. And that's where we saw the more dominant fight there towards the end from ByuN. GG. GG, well played. As ByuN, he was able to be quite successful with his proxy. If you remember, it all began with a proxy Reaper, right? He was able to deal economic damage, cause some chaos, delay saturation at the natural, delay the 3rd base very heavily. True. The 3rd base was very delayed there for Classic, and Classic, he just could not really get into his own economy. Couldn't get there. GG. GG, well played. And again, I should also emphasize as well that it was just really important that ByuN was as aggressive and active as he was, right? Like, he had to make sure that he didn't allow Classic to stabilize, didn't allow Classic to get his 2nd Robo up and running and get his 5th base up and running as well. ByuN was very much so in his face the entire game. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be loading into Ad Attorney's Edge. This is an interesting map here. I would say it's a map of extremes. There's gold bases, high yield gas geysers as well. We'll get into it. I'm a little bit concerned for ByuN here. Again, we'll get into the game itself. Into the openers more specifically. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of At Attorney's Edge, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss. Oh, sorry, we have the blue Protoss player himself. He's leading the series 2-1, and still one game away from claiming the series and becoming our champion. It is Classic for Virtus Pro. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. We go. As we are going to be opening up, I'm going to be calming things down. Again, welcome to At Attorney's Edge. Coming into this map, we have a relatively secure 2-base setup here. Of course, we have the entrance and the ramp coming onto the high ground further out in the open, of course, outside of the third location. We have the low ground linear third base. We have the high ground triangular third as well. But the reason why I was a little bit concerned for ByuN coming into this is that this is a very large, very wide map that does have a lot of bases that favor whoever has map control. And if ByuN doesn't get momentum early... Oh, he saw it. ByuN was hiding his racks. He was hiding his racks, and I believe Classic, yeah, he saw the racks itself. Like, hey, get out of here. You saw nothing. Smurge, back, smurge. So, attempted cheeky play here by ByuN doesn't quite work out. But what we were getting at is that if ByuN fails to get momentum early on, and if Classic is able to take map control, we have gold bases and we have high yield gas bases as well. We have some very valuable bases here that will favor Classic if he's able to take over the map. So this is where we need aggression out of ByuN, as this map specifically can be more punishing than normal. It can be very punishing. Now when it comes to favoring aggressive plays, depending on our expansion locations here, the triangular third base and the opposing triangular third base, the distance here between them is very short. It's a very short, very direct path across the map. There's no like high ground, there's no low ground, there's no choke point. I mean, there's I guess somewhat of a choke point here, somewhat, that opens up over time, by the way. Where there's no line of sight blocker, for example. It's just a very direct path across the map, and we can see some, and we have seen some Terran all-ins make use of that, of course. But that's only if Classic also expands here. Otherwise, it'll be on Classic to try to delay the push. We have a Zelnaga tower in the center to get eyes on any kind of move out. We did see Homeowner earlier in this broadcast successfully all-in Rebellion on this map, so we'll see how aggressive ByuN plans on being. Reaper does poke in. So far, decent shuffling here from Classic. It does shuffle back his weakened probes. Stalker moves in and zones away. So Classic does zone. Behind this, a Twilight Council opener. Question becomes, how many gateways? Now, on a map like At Attorney's Edge, I would hope to see... I don't think I'm opposed to something greedier like 2-gate blink, but I'm expecting at least 3-gate blink Stalker. Keep an eye on our players here. Reaper does poke in, gets one. One probe. Not bad. One probe goes down, denies some mining time as well. More than you expect with the first Reaper. Behind this, CC is finishing up, soon to be landing on the low ground. We have our 1-1-1 follow-up. Oh, going for the add-on swap. Okay, no Widowine drop here. We might even just rush into Banshee play. Do we go for the Banshee? Do we go for the Raven? If you remember, last game there was a Banshee opener without Cloak, this time with Cloak. So much more committed play here by ByuN. Classic, do we have a Sentry? The answer is no. How many gateways do we have? We have a Robo, we have one on the low ground, one on the high ground, 2-gate blink. Okay, 2-gate blink out of Classic. It looks like 2-gate blink into a Robo into a third base. Not the greediest build, but relatively greedy here from Classic. Third gateway. Safe play. Safe play at a Classic. Now, because, so we're comparing this to game 1, for example. Remember, game 1, Classic got his third base before the Robo. Here, it's Robo before the third. What does that mean in the context of this game? Early detection. Early observers here. So, and that's going to be important against the Banshee defense. Classic doesn't know what he's up against, but Classic is blindly playing safe anyway, and that's going to be ideal against a potential Cloak Banshee aggression. Assuming he makes the observer after this, by the way. But he has access to observers. Does start things off with a War Prism. First Banshee moves out. We'll see if Classic does Chrono out and make an observer. This Banshee does make his way towards the main. Batteries in production. This Prism tells us that Classic wants to push. There's the observer, but as Classic moves out, the Banshee's moving in. And Classic's out of position. Yeah, Classic is out of position. Banshee does hit the main base. Probes will go down. Classic, he doesn't turn around. Yeah, he does not turn around. The battery will buy some time. Battery's buying time. Now, because of this as well, there's that much less to defend. There's no tank, right? There's no defensive tank due to the add-on swap for the Banshee. 3 probe kills so far. Classic dropping into the main. I get spotted. Yeah, he gets spotted by the depot. And ByuN should be fine here. He will lose some depots. That is true. Oh, we will lose a Stalker. Yeah, 1 Stalker goes down, but a miscontroller by Classic. At the same time, 4 probe kills in total. 3 in the main, 1 at... Oh, no! 3 in the main, 1 at the natural. We have 1 Banshee remaining here. 1 Banshee did fall. And so far, it's been okay damage for ByuN, but ideally, he wanted more. Yeah, I say okay damage, it's not enough. Like, he killed 4 probes, that is true, and he's keeping army tied up, but this was 2 Cloak Banshees. At least 1 of them still alive, so he's scouting. Scouting, checking. Checking for the 3rd. Again, the scary thing here is that there are no tanks because of the Banshee production, and this bunker is going to go down. Yeah, the bunker does fall, going for extra warp ins. And the boys are being pulled desperation here by ByuN. He's getting desperate. And again, this is all happening because of the Banshee play and the failed Banshee aggression. As that's 5 SCVs. Classic pulls away. He can just keep applying pressure. Oh, the Prism! No, the Prism! Yeah, Prism overextends. Miscontroller by Classic. Goes too far with the War Prism. And ByuN is holding. ByuN is now holding on. Behind this, Classic does expand. ByuN does hold, does defend. If we had the War Prism, we could reinforce and maybe even break this position. But as things stands, ByuN, he holds. Forcing it, even catching a Stalker. Oof. Yeah, 2 Stalkers going down. Heavy losses there for Classic. He has to race all the way back home. Losing another Stalker. Oh no, he move commands in. Yeah, once again, Miscontrol moving into the army, losing 2 more Stalkers. Ay. Classic, we gotta lock in. We gotta lock in, baby. So Classic turns around. ByuN has momentum. Behind this, there's 1 Colossus to defend. Classic can hold with the Colossus, but he has to be so careful with it. Blink Sword. Blink Sword gets 1, gets 2 Marauders. Very nice snipes. Yeah, better snipes here from Classic. Baits out the mine shots. Observers in position and cleans up all 4 mines. Very nice cleanup here out of Classic. Whew, okay, and Classic holds. Classic holds on. ByuN races back home. Behind this, we're getting 2 more Raxes. There's a 3rd CC. Okay. 3rd CC is on the way. ByuN is expanding. But if you notice, something that we did emphasize that was crucial for ByuN's game, last game, of course, was ByuN's aggression, right? He's been very active, very aggressive, even this game as well. And ideally, want to keep that momentum going. As Classic should be taking a 4th base soon. He's going for the gold. No shot. He's going straight for the gold. Very risky here by Classic. Very greedy. He goes for it. He's going for the gold, and ByuN cannot let him get away with this. He can't get away with it. That's a huge move from Classic. Oh my god, the light is so bright here. Oh my Jesus. It's like a solar flare going on here. Oh my god. It's like a nice little study room in the middle. As ByuN does claim his 3rd, and again, ByuN currently is unaware of what's going on. He's unaware. If you remember, we spoke about this after Game 1, emphasizing some of the strengths of Classic. We spoke about it in Game 1. Classic, he's one of the best players in the world when it comes to recognizing like when he can get away with mass expanding and being greedy and taking an economic edge, specifically in TVP. This is another example of that, where the aggression has died down, ByuN backed off, bam, go base. And it's very, very risky here, but if he gets away with it, I mean, that's going to be a massive boost to the economy for Classic. As he's double expanding, essentially. Getting a 4th and getting a 5th. Yep, double expanding. Now, is this too greedy? It might be. Remember, the rush distance by ground from this 3rd to the opposing 3rd location is very short. And I mean, thankfully Classic is in position. Yeah, he's here at the 5th base. The issue that I have is that if ByuN pokes in, if he sees the timing of this expansion, he might be thinking, oh, it's okay. He doesn't know this isn't the 4th, this is the 5th. Yeah, he scans. He scans. ByuN pushing forward. How many Vikings? 6. 6 Vikings. Gets a volley off. Lands an EMP. As the goal base is fully saturated, by the way, and ByuN still does not know. As I mentioned before, like, if ByuN believes this is the 4th base, then internally he doesn't really feel that much pressure. He's like, no, yeah, your 4th base is on time. That's fine. But it's not true. It's not true, Pappy. We need to be more active. Behind this, getting his own 4th expansion. And rotating here in the center. Classic is in between his bases. Classic, he does spot the army. I mean, he has the observer of the army the entire time. He blinks, it blinks forward. He's crazy. Yeah, it blinks in. 1, 2 Colossus is going to be going down. Yeah, massive pickups. Getting 2, getting 3. Yeah, 3 Colossus do full. And it's going to just reset the Colossus count. The ByuN army is breaking through as well. And ByuN, he's doing it. He's breaking through despite the gold base. Classic, was he too greedy? I think so. As he's lacking a gateway army. He's lacking his gateway army here. Losing every single Colossus. And with that, ByuN has done it. ByuN has broken through. ByuN, he never knew about the goal base, but thankfully he was being aggressive. He wasn't passive, right? He wasn't passive. He didn't stay back at home. He breaks out, breaks through the Colossi. And with that, ByuN, we're forcing the ace match. we're going the distance, Patty. We're going all the way. Breaks through the Zealots, gets on top of the Robo as well. With that, the boys are being pulled. So again, desperation at the classic. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will tie the series. We're going to game 5. Whew. GG. GG, well played again. Classic double expanding, getting his 5th base so quickly. Obviously, ByuN didn't know it was a 5th base, but thankfully ByuN still kept the pressure up, still was active on the map. Thankfully, he did not back off. If he were to back off, then Classic could then start making use of the gold and then max out. Then max out, build up his mineral bank, build up his Zealot army as well. That's what was lacking there for Classic. Is sure, I think he had like, what, 5 Colossus? He had a heavy Colossus count, but his gateway army was lacking, and he didn't need that support for his Colossi, for the anti-Viking army, the anti-ground army. Once the Colossus fell, GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we're going all the way to the ace match. We're going to game 5, and where are we dropping? What is that final map? Let's have a look here. Oh, okay. We're going to be loading into Blackrock. Interesting. We're going back to Durotar. We're going to... Let's go. For those who don't know, Blackrock is a Warcraft 3 inspired map. Even has some orc watchtowers and some orca grunts as well. Very Warcraft 3 inspired. I don't know what it was as TLMC, but there were a lot of Warcraft maps. For those that maybe didn't tune into the judging stream that we had, there's Blackrock, which in reference to the Blackrock clan in Warcraft. There was Silvermoon, which was honestly really nice aesthetically, but Silvermoon, that was its own map as well. And Voidstorm, which is a reference to Netherstorm. So, a lot of Warcraft maps this season. There we go. Here we go. We're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It's catching up. Oh, Este. I see Demi. Este Varun. Good to see you, Demi. Good to see you if you're still there. Este, Demi. When are we seeing you in the next KSL, Pappy? Este, Demi. So we're getting into Blackrock. Here we go, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackrock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Virtus Pro, being forced into the ace match. He was up 2-0, by the way. He had a strong start to the series, but he has been losing his lead. Can he bring it back? Can he bring it home? It is Classic. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. Coming back. He was down 2-0, by the way, but he brought it back. Can he pull off the reverse sweep? It is ByuN, as he goes to the proxy. Here we go. The SCV sent across the map. The Rax has been thrown down. Now, if you recall, there were some changes made to Blackrock. That is why if you look at the minimap here, this is not TLMC map Blackrock. This is Avex Blackrock. Avex is the map maker, the creator of this map, and there were some changes made. Previously, we did have a more accessible and abusable natural base. There was tall grass covering this entire location, so you can make use of this. Double gas is back at home, but we're going proxy marauder. As this time we're going double gases, we only have one Rax. Classic moves out with the probe, and Classic, he will barely not scout the proxy. He barely does not see what's going on. The probe does move out across the map. Classic, he will confirm that a Rax is missing though. Does confirm that a Rax is missing. ByuN, yep, going proxy marauder. So marauder's going to be amassing. And we'll see how Classic responds. Meanwhile, as you can see here, we have that Warcraft 3 aesthetic. Oh, there he is. We have some orc grunts thrown around all over the place. The orc miniatures. We have the watchtowers as well. That orc encampment aesthetic, if you will. Oh, yeah, they're colluding. They're colluding with the moopies. Oh, no. They're colluding. Aye. What are they planning? As here come the Marauders. Now, the goal here so far, again, Classic, he gets across the map, he scouts, he confirms that the Rax is missing. Back at home, we're going for the, early Zealots. Stake the battery inside of the main. That will help against, Proxy Reaper, true. But that will not help against the Marauders. So a bit of a misread here from Classic. The boys are being pulled. Classic, can he deny the bunker? Can he deny it? As the boys have arrived. ByuN can kite back to the tall grass as well, true. To deny that line of sight. The pylon taking a lot of hits. Very nice force field. Locks down one of the Marauders. He gets surrounded. Yeah, he will get surrounded. Just barely. The bunker is being denied, but now another Marauder has arrived. And again, that pylon is so low. Once again, another force field. Once again, locks down the Marauder. Very nice force field so far. Kills the SCV. Yeah, kills the SCV. Second Stalker has made us. We have another pylon, and Classic holds. Classic, Classic, he does hold on. Does force a cancel. ByuN pulling back. And ByuN did kill 7 probes. That was a lot of economic damage, but at the same time, ByuN, remember, he does not have a CC. Bear that in mind. As Classic does hold. And again, shout out to the force fields. The force fields are crazy. He just kept locking down those Marauders one after the other. Back at home, CC on the low ground. We do have our Cyclone follow-up, I believe, into Macville accelerators. That's a very common follow-up here from ByuN. Just to have some kind of map control early on. Now just getting a second Cyclone. Second Cyclone is a starport. And so far, Classic is in a better position. I mean, I say that, did lose a lot of workers. That is true. Did lose a lot of workers, so Classic has some recovering to do. We can see that ByuN is skipping Macfield, just going for 2 vanilla Cyclones, just, again, for map control. And I'm curious to see where he takes us from here. Oh my god, what? Does he look him down once again? Jesus. Sentry goes down. The Cyclone takes a lot of hits. ByuN has to get out of here. Get out of here, baby. Get out of here. Oh my god. ByuN pulls away. Pulls away, races back home. We might get one more shut off, but I believe the Cyclone will survive. Yep. Cyclone does make it. With the repairs, I don't see Classic breaking these Cyclones. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. ByuN getting to his own 3-1-1 setup. Bold move out of ByuN, moving out with his 2 Cyclones, moving out with his drops. And we'll see how we stabilize. As ByuN is hunting for any kind of stray units here. Alright, Twilight Council into Blink. 2 more gates on the way, 3 in total. So 3 gate Blink into the robo. Very safe play here by Classic. Very safe. and we'll see if Classic can minimize losses. Can minimize, gets into the main, gets one. One probe kills. Oh, two probes even. Okay. Two probes going down. Can he get a third? Not quite. Yeah, not quite. Medevac forced to lift, but I mean, not bad damage here. Two probes, doesn't lose anything. Doesn't lose anything. The add-on, of course, also scouts the timing of the expansion. ByuN is aware. We're following this up with Liberators. I was curious if it was going to be Liberator or Banshee, but no Tech Lab. So into Liberator harassing, going for earlier sim. Oof, as the Cyclones get locked down. Oof, losing the Medevac, losing both Cyclones as well. Expensive losses there for ByuN. That should not have happened. Suddenly, yes, ByuN killed two pros, but he lost two Cyclones in the process. And likewise, that means that Classic doesn't need to stay at home. Doesn't need to stay back. Classic, he moves out across the map. There is still a Liberator threatening the third base. True. There's still that Liberator. Observer scouts the army. There's only one tank. Yeah, Liberator does siege into the natural. So a late reaction by Classic. Losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pro kills. Very nice damage here by ByuN. Classic was distracted. Observer gets spotted. Keen eyes there by ByuN. And ByuN, he's making up for his Cyclones. He's making up for them. Cashing the Observer. No high ground vision. Dealing economic damage. ByuN looking good. He's looking good. Looking solid. He can now break out. Stim is done. Conventions +1 finishing up as well. ByuN commits. He commits. Catching at 1, 2 Stalkers. Oh. A lot of Stalkers falling. Classic is in trouble. And Classic, I'll be honest, I don't think he can stop this. This is just so much. He's going to have one Colossus. Okay, he's knocking down the rocks. He's knocking... Oh, God. He's knocking down the rocks. He's buying time. He's buying precious seconds. The Colossus will pop out. He's going to have one battery to defend. But engaging to the choke point is also going to be brutal here for Classic. Can he get on top of the tank? I don't see that happening. Okay, he locks down a Marauder. He won't even kill it. Oh, he might. Yeah. Marauder survives. Never mind. Marauder does survive. We have a choke point here. Massive mine shot on the Zealots. Tank will go down. Classic, he attempts this around here, and ByuN does trade, but he gets forced back. Doesn't kill the Colossus. Yeah, the Colossus does hold, does survive, and the game will continue. The game will continue here. Third CC's halfway done for ByuN. Halfway complete. ByuN is forced back. Oh, Jesus, going for a massive Doom drop. Okay. ByuN commits. Classic does have a recall available. There is energy in the main. So Classic can either recall or base trade. Bearing in mind that this is the only army back at home. There's 2 Vikings, a handful of units. Here we go, drop into the main. There's a recall. Does recall back. Bay goes down. Nice snipe there by ByuN. Ooh. Denies the warp in, depowers the gateways, catching a Colossus as well. Oh my god. ByuN is achieving a lot here, and he does not lose a Medevac. Yeah, barely not. Catching up more gateway units, picking up more Zealots, more Stalkers as well. He tries to. Colossus is overextending. Okay, it's fine. He's reinforcing. Does reinforce. But he does overextend though. We gotta get out of here. The Colossus. ByuN wants it. The Vikings. Yeah, one more volley. The Colossus will go down. Classic overextends, and Classic is being broken. He's falling apart. Not like this. Classic down to 0 Colossi, and he can't rebuild the Bay. Remember, the Bay got sniped. He couldn't build a Colossus. Keep going, ByuN. Keep going. We don't have to back off, Pat. We can just keep pushing. There's no splash damage. We got 1 disruptor on the way. 1 disruptor is in production, but 0 splash damage currently here for Classic. ByuN, you can keep going. Ah. Prism does counterattack. Again, Classic, he needs ByuN to turn around. Needs him to turn around. Going for the warp in. ByuN, he does turn around. He's going back home. He's going back home. And Classic, he survives. Ah. Yeah, he does survive here as ByuN, he turns everything all the way back home. Zelsei busts into the main. Cashing out 6 SCVs. Prism gets out, can always go back in. Now, forcing ByuN back home is the first step here on the road to recovery, but Classic needs more than that. He needs to build up his economy. Right now, his economy is very lackluster. Needs to get up to 4 base saturation, then get a 5th. Likewise, it needs to build up into the second robo, into splash damage once again. It will still take time for Classic. Prism went down. War Prism did go down. Nice snipe of the Observer. Ooh, Classic getting ready for the backstab. Getting ready for the backstab. He wants ByuN to push out once again to force him back home. He's doing it again. Does hit the natural. ByuN turns around. Classic force fields, pushing into the main. At the same time, Zelsei coming from behind, going for the third base mineral line. And now it's ByuN's turn to be pulled apart. This is a very committed move here by Classic, bear that in mind. But he does catch reinforcements, does trade relatively well. Recalls back home, saving the Stalkers at least. But the Zealot Rumbai didn't achieve damage. Only 4 CV kills. He needed to get the mineral line here. Like, this was so committed for Classic. In the end, that wasn't worth it. That was not worth it. You can see the trades here. Classic, he lost 12 Zealots. He lost 2 Stalkers. He lost all of his sentries. For 4 SCVs. Oh. Nice Nova. Okay. Novas are connecting. It's a full NG Ghost as well. Disruptors are out. Now, Classic is still, you know, treading water, is still in a rough position. But hey, if he can land some of these Novas, he can dominate a fight. The Nova's back. ByuN is counter-attacking. ByuN, he actually comes in for the attempt to surround. Ooh, too soon. Yeah, ByuN came in too soon. He was a bit premature. As he does give chase. Nice Novas. Oh my god. Yeah, Novas are connecting, catching out mainly Marines. Yeah, Marines do go down. Classic rotating. Building on more disruptors so far. He has 6, soon to be 7 disruptors. Classic mass expanding as well, taking all the bases. Now, at this point, Classic cannot maintain these expansions, not yet. But we'll see if he can get away with the greed. We'll see if he can get away with it. Oof. There we get some decent connections. Catching out Marauders as well. Yeah, the Novas are here. At the same time, nice harass. Sets up the Liberator. Forcing defensive warp-ins. I would imagine. As we're still not done, more probes are falling. Never goes off. So just grazing the army. Classic. Again, just chipping away at the army here. No major connections yet. Oh! Okay, catching out 2 Marauders. And they're all softened up. Yeah, they're all softened up. That's what 5 Marauders going down. More Novas connecting. Again, they're just dealing damage over time. Prism into the main. No major warp in, but he does get in. There we go. There's the warp in. And again, ByuN's being torn apart here. Novas are connecting. They turn back the main army. Zelsei recapping the main. Shows the Novas. Oh my god, massive connection. Yeah, one does land, one does connect. 22 SCV kills is what matters. This is what matters here. This Zelsei recapping the main base. 25 SCVs going down. We continue the warp ins. He keeps going. Classic keeps going. He's done. He has broken ByuN. Massive connection. The main army crumbles. And ByuN was so close this game. GG gets called as Classic snowballs out of control, and Classic takes the series 3-2, becoming this week's KSL champion. GG. GG, well played. ByuN had so much momentum in this game. He was, again, I'm thinking about the moment where he killed 2 Colossus. Remember, if you recall, I'm referring to the Doom Drop. He Doom Dropped into the main base. He forced a weird reaction out of Classic recalled back home. He lost 2 Colossus in the scrambling of the defense, and he lost the Bay as well. There was 0 splash damage, and ByuN could have kept pushing to even kill Classic, but what did we see? War Prism counterattack. The Prism went for the counterattack, Zealot run by as well at the same time, and ByuN turned everything back home. We tried to emphasize that moment. That was the moment where Classic forced ByuN to back off, and that allowed Classic to saturate his 4th base, to get his 4th up and running, to rebuild his Bay, to get into disruptors, and to actually build up an army. Despite that, it was still very tense. That was Classic like stabilizing essentially, and it was still very tense between the 2 players. It came down to the control, came down to the purification overs, and it came down to the non-stop counterattacks. The War Prism time and time again got into the main base of ByuN with Zealot run by, Zealot counterattacks, Zealot warpins as well, and eventually became too much, alongside the Novas, of course. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, a very intense back and forth there between Classic and ByuN. In the end, Classic is going to be our champion, but shout out to ByuN, because ByuN, he made a series out of it, and so we had some very clutch, very entertaining games here between the 2 players. GG. GG, well played. Shout out to ByuN for coming in 2nd place. Congratulations to Classic for becoming our champion. GG. GG. Share the prediction results. It was actually quite close. It was actually quite close here. It was 61% in favor of Classic, 39% in favor of ByuN. GG. GG. But with that, we are going to be wrapping up here for the day. Again, if you want to support the KSL, you can do so via Patreon. !KSL in the chat. Okay, we'll give you a link to the Patreon page. Again, when it comes to the KSL, they've been waning a little bit when it comes to support on Patreon. This used to be a weekly tournament, and nowadays it is a monthly tournament. A big shout out to Dave Testa and Chicken Man for hosting and running the event on a regular basis. Big shout out to Dave Testa and Chicken Man. I know that currently Chicken Man is unavailable and Dave Testa's under the weather. But regardless, despite that, they still run the tournament. They still host the event itself. So much love to both Dave and Chicken Man for taking the initiative to host and run this event on a regular basis. Again, to help out the Korean scene, of course. Likewise, if you want some more StarCraft action, we're going to be live later on tonight. I'm going to try to sleep for like an hour. I'll try maybe 2. I'll try to maybe not for like 2 hours, maybe. For those that are curious, tonight is RSL. We have the RSL. Here's our schedule. We just wrapped up our Saturday morning broadcast. You can see the KSL logo there, Saturday morning. That was our first cast of the day. Later on tonight, we have RSL. That is going to be in around 4 hours time. In 4 hours is going to be RSL. I'm going to try to get like maybe 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep. And then wake up in time for RSL, and tomorrow GSL, the semifinals and the grand finals. Is going to be a live cast of GSL tomorrow evening. Bearing in mind that we do cast it live, we've been casting it live the entire season, and it is live casted over on Soup. I should emphasize that as well. Soup, for those who don't know, that is Africa TV. They are basically another streaming platform, a Korean streaming platform. Especially because Twitch no longer support Korea. They no longer have monetary support for Korean residents and Korean streamers. So because that was like 2 years ago at this point, but that's why we had a rise of streaming services in Korea to actually allow for Korean streamers to perform and to host content and to stream. As a result of that, you know, GSL is exclusive to Soup, bear that in mind. That is why we only live stream on Soup. VODs are available on YouTube and Twitch after the fact, 48 hours after. That is the restriction, that is the limitation for us. We have to wait 48 hours and then we can show the VOD elsewhere. So if you can't wait 48 hours, then you can either watch it live or check out the VOD over on Soup. Soup in the chat to get a link to our Soup channel if you wish to watch it live. So again, that is going to be tomorrow. So we have GSL tomorrow and we have RSL tonight in 4 hours time. When it comes to RSL, we're going to be covering, I want to say, is it Cure, ByuN, not Shin, Xian. I know Xian's playing tonight. Let's look at the brackets. God, I was completely off. Never mind. Clem, Bunny, Rogue, and Lambo. Oh, true went over it. Very surprised, very pleasantly surprised that Lambo did well in the group stage. That was the upset, is that Lambo made it through and Cure and Zound didn't. That's it. So yeah, so Lambo, Clem, Rogue, and Bunny are playing in RSL tonight. That's going to be 2 best of 5s. 2 best of 5s. Hopefully a longer cast than last night. Last night it was less than 2 hours. Hyper short, hyper fast series. Hopefully we get a little bit more out of our players tonight for RSL. But otherwise, we're going to be heading off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys next time for some more StarCraft, of course. Whether it's tonight for RSL or tomorrow for GSL or next week for the plethora of events that we have, we'll see you next time. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and until then, we'll see you next time. If you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, !our Patreon in the chat. That funds our tournaments. Again, there's a lot of ways to support StarCraft nowadays, with the GSL Patreon, the RSL Patreon, the KSL Patreon, the Ducklings Patreon. So it's again, there are ways to support. If you do wish to support a channel or a tournament out there, you can do so. Likewise, we do ask you to at least follow us. You can follow us on all the socials, whether it's Mastodon, Blue Sky, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. They are the places to be. Check us out there if you wish. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.